Chapter 274. Lin Xian. He actually dares to appear. Countless people cried out in alarm. Then greedy eyes gathered on his body. In the distance, the disciples of the Mu clan saw Lin Xian, and their eyes were filled with killing intent. Especially Mu Rong. Her beautiful eyes seemed like they could spit fire. Her left arm was empty, and her sleeve was fluttering in the wind. Lin Xian, you will pay a painful price. Brother Mu Chen, that little brat killed Mu Yi and cut off my arm. You must avenge us. Mu Rong gnashed her teeth and said. The young man in the middle opened his eyes. His pupils seemed to contain stars. He looked at the distant figure of Lin Xian, and said in a low voice, Don't worry. When the Linguo mountain opens, I will take his life. Mu Chen's voice was low and steady. It was as if he was talking about a trivial matter. Mu Rong also calmed down. Although Lin Xian was strong, in front of Mu Chen, he was not strong enough. The Mu clan became silent again. Although the others were excited, no one dared to be the first to attack. Lin Feng stood up. An invisible sword energy surrounded him, and countless sword marks appeared on the ground around him. Just as he was about to attack, a group of people came from the distance. It was the disciples of the Black Wind sect. Brother Ling Feng, this is bad. Someone cried out in alarm. Why are you shouting? Brother Ling Feng is resting. A disciple of the Black Wind sect scolded. Those people were Du Fei and his group. When they saw Lin Xian in the distance, their bodies trembled, and their eyes were filled with fear. Senior brother, that Lin Xian stole our treasured weapons and killed senior brother Gafeng. Moreover, senior brother Du Fei's cultivation has been crippled. A group of people said with sullen faces. What? This news made the nearby cultivators' faces change. They looked at Lin Xian in alarm. Many people secretly rejoiced that they did not attack. Lin Xian even dared to kill the disciples of the Black Wind sect, let alone them. The cultivators beside Ling Feng heard this, and their faces turned ferocious. Bastard, you think the Black Wind sect is easy to bully? Oh, go and kill him. Someone immediately said coldly. Senior brother. Someone shouted. Why don't we let senior brother Ling Fengzi? What do you mean? Do you think I can't beat a martial artist in the 7th layer of the spiritual ocean tier? That disciple's face darkened. No. I definitely don't mean to look down on senior brother. But that brat is a little strange. Senior brother Gafeng was killed by him in one move. And senior brother Du Fei was also defeated in one move. One move. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. The originally arrogant martial artist also quieted down. His strength was indeed stronger than Du Fei and Gafeng, but not by much. If Lin Xian could kill Gafeng in one move, then he would be courting death if he went up. Why did you take so long to tell me such important information? Are you trying to get me killed? That martial artist's tone was cold. The others trembled, not daring to speak. Wang. At this moment, Ling Fengzi suddenly opened his eyes, causing the surrounding air to tremble, spreading out like water ripples. All of the Black Wind sect's disciples kept their mouths shut, not even daring to breathe heavily. Senior brother, you have to avenge me, Du Fei said with an unwilling expression. Trash, Black Wind sect's face has been completely lost by you. Ling Fengzi opened his eyes, causing a violent wind to blow. Senior brother, I know I was wrong. Du Fei knelt down with a plop. I hope senior brother can avenge me. I guarantee that our Du family will be your staunch supporters in the future. Alright, stand up, Ling Fengzi said in a deep voice. I will give you an explanation for this matter. Du Fei wasn't an ordinary disciple. His grandfather was an elder of the Black Wind sect, and his cultivation had reached the harmonious spirit realm. If the Du family could stand behind Ling Fengzi, then his position in the sect would rise again. With this relationship, Ling Fengzi decided to stand up for him. Just as the Black Wind sect was discussing matters, many more people arrived, causing the place to become lively again. At this moment, Lin Feng and Ling Fengzi both looked at Lin Xian, and the others also looked over. For a moment, Lin Xian became the center of attention again. Facing those unfriendly gazes, Lin Xian looked calm, and stood with his hands clasped behind his back. This kid is quite a character. In the distance, a handsome young man was standing beside Bai Ling. He was the eldest disciple of the Yuhua sect, Zhao Jia. Lin Xian, Hand over the token, and I will spare your life. Lin Feng said coldly. Whether you hand over the token or not, I will kill you. On the other side, Ling Fengzi was ruthless. This attitude again. Lin Xian sneered. Do you really think you are high above and can decide everything? Until you reach this level, you will never know how small you are. Ling Fengzi said in a deep voice. Is that so? Lin Xian's lips curved into a smile. Then let me experience your strength. Finished speaking, the dragon sword intent in his body surged, and a gigantic sword shadow appeared behind him, with a gigantic dragon circling above it. With the sword in hand, Lin Xian's aura changed, as if a divine sword was unsheathed, giving people a boundless sense of oppression. What a terrifying sword intent. The surrounding cultivators retreated, their faces pale. Small success sword intent. That is small success sword intent. No wonder he is so confident. Someone in the crowd exclaimed. Comprehending sword intent was already a 1 in 10,000 genius. Not to mention small success sword intent. This kind of person was also 1 in 100 among the geniuses who comprehended sword intent. Buzz! Another burst of sword will rose into the air, clashing with Lin Xian's sword will of the great dragon. Oh my god, another small success sword intent. The crowd was shocked to find that Lin Feng, who was wearing white, was like a god of death, unstoppable. Behind him, there was a gigantic blood-red sword, like a maple tree, emitting a terrifying aura. On the side, Ling Feng's spiritual energy surged, like the source of the wind, blowing out an endless gale. Even his body became illusory. Seeing that the battle was about to start, the Lingwu mountain also changed. Boom! 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 The air trembled, as if the five-finger mountain had come alive, emitting a dazzling light. The clouds in the sky were dispersed, as if the sky had been pierced, forming 5 pillars of light, connecting the heaven and earth. Immediately after, the sound of chanting resounded in the Lingwu mountain. The entire mountain burst into countless rays of light, enveloping an area of 100 miles. At that moment, everyone's hearts were empty, as if they had fallen into a special state. It was as if the incomprehensible questions of cultivation had suddenly been solved. Lin Xian was astonished. He realized that at that moment, his understanding of sword intent had become even more thorough. This is the Lingwu mountain? It is really terrifying. Lin Xian exclaimed. Just one ray of light was enough to make him understand. This method was really too amazing. Swish, swish, swish. At that moment, countless eyes were looking at the Lingwu mountain, filled with endless passion and excitement. Buzz, buzz. Lin Xian, Ling Fengzi, and Mu Chen's bodies were emitting rays of light. A palm-sized stone token appeared above their heads, constantly floating in the air. Let's go. Now is not the time to lose. Some people were blinded by their desire and rushed forward. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Dozens of people rushed towards Lin Xian, while some others rushed towards Ling Fengzi and Mu Chen. Swoosh. Chapter 275. Lin Feng's dragon sword energy was surging, and everything within a 10-zhang radius was enveloped by the light of the sword. Lin Xian attacked with his sword and a cold light shone in all directions. The ground cracked and the air shook. The people who were rushing towards him were all pierced by the sword qi. A bloody mist filled the air. Lin Feng's ice-cold killing intent woke everyone up. Many of the cultivators retreated in fear. They didn't dare think of anything else. At that moment, Ling Fengzi, Mu Chen and the others were surrounded by corpses. The ground was dyed red with blood. The scene quieted down for a moment. It was terrifyingly quiet. Ling Fengzi and Mu Chen took the stone token and flew towards the huge light pillar. Lin Xian was stupefied. He also wanted to leave, but Lin Feng smiled coldly and blocked his way. 3 strikes. If I can't defeat you in 3 strikes, I won't steal your talisman. Lin Feng was full of confidence. At that moment, Lin Feng was looking down on Lin Xian. All right, Lin Xian replied in a deep voice. He was standing in his original position with a cold expression. Even if it was a battle to the death, he wouldn't be afraid, let alone 3 strikes. It'll let you know how stupid your idea is. Lin Xian's eyes were filled with battle intent. Bzzz. The air was shaking. Lin Feng quickly unsheathed his black sword and attacked. The maple sword energy behind him was dazzling like maple leaves. Lin Xian's long sword swept horizontally. The broken moon sword chi was flying at full speed like a crescent moon. Ding! 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 The sound of metal colliding spread in the air. Sparks were flying in the air. The ground was collapsing, and a terrifying hole appeared in the ground. Red Maple 13 Swords. Lin Feng took a step forwards. His body was surrounded by sword chi, and he attacked with all his strength. That sword was too fast. It was as fast as lightning. People didn't have time to react. Lin Feng's low-level sword energy made that sword even more powerful. It seemed like it was going to tear the sky apart. Wind Cutter. Lin Xian raised both of his hands and brandished his sword. A gigantic dragon roared, and it seemed like it was going to tear the sky apart. Dong! Dong! In the sky, a ferocious azure dragon collided with the maple leaves. The sound of metal colliding filled the air. A huge explosion occurred in the air, and the terrifying energy ball was like the light of the sun, sweeping in all directions. The surrounding cultivators retreated in horror, fearing that they would be caught in the crossfire. Some of the slower ones were sent flying by this force. 2 attacks had already passed. Lin Xian and Lin Feng were evenly matched. Lin Feng looked glum. He hadn't thought that Lin Xian's sword energy would grow to such an extent. It was even stronger than his own. Fortunately, his cultivation was strong enough to make up for the gap in sword intent. However, no matter what, he had to take down Lin Xian in this third move. Lin Feng's black hair was fluttering in the wind. He looked like a demon. With a sway of his body, he pressed down on Lin Xian like a mountain. The long sword in his hand firmly locked onto Lin Xian. Sword sealing all directions. The maple leaf sword will pierce through all directions, causing the ground to crack. Countless sword chi flew out from the ground, forming a dense sword screen. Thick sword chi slashed down from the sky. It was as if a huge maple tree was falling down, bringing with it an aura that could crush everything. Lin Xian's heart was heavy. He didn't dare to be careless. He could feel the terror of this sword. This force could definitely seal a half-step harmonious spirit expert. The surrounding space was completely sealed. The sky and the ground were filled with terrifying sword chi. He had no way to retreat. Flying Rainbow. Lin Xian's longsword slanted, drawing an inexplicable trajectory in the air. A rainbow-like sword chi flew out quickly, colliding with the maple leaf sword curtain, tearing a human-shaped crack in it. Flying Rainbow, the 4th move of the green cloud sword art. Lin Xian finally used it at this critical moment. Swoosh! The sword curtain was broken. Lin Xian's cloak shook and turned into an afterimage as he flew out. At the place where he was originally standing, the 4 directions of the sword curtain gathered and destroyed everything inside. A 10 meters deep hole appeared on the ground. It was so deep that the bottom couldn't be seen. Red maple leaf sword chi was moving around the hole. The martial artists in the distance were stunned. They had only seen this kind of technique from their elders. They didn't expect these 2 youngsters to be able to use it. 3 moves have passed. Do you want to continue? Lin Xian asked in a deep voice. No need. Lin Feng snorted. Wait until my red maple sword will is completed. That will be the day you die. Lin Feng's body flashed, and he flew towards the Lingwu mountain. Lin Xian looked at the departing figure and slightly shook his head. He wasn't sure if he could kill Lin Feng yet, so he wasn't in a hurry. Who else? He looked around and asked in a deep voice. The Buddha token is ours. A cold voice was heard. 5 figures flew out and surrounded Lin Xian. Looking at the 5 majestic voices, the crowd exclaimed. 5 tiger blade breaking gate. I didn't expect them to come. I heard that the 5 brothers of the Sun family once fought against a harmonious spirit warrior together. I'm afraid this Lin Xian is in danger. Lin Xian is dead for sure. Too bad I can't kill him myself. Du Fei's face was ferocious. Lin Xian looked at the 5 people, his eyes slightly gloomy. This isn't a one-on-one fight. Hand over the Buddha token, and we 5 brothers won't kill you. Otherwise, you can just wait for your death. A muscular man shouted. Big brother, why are you wasting your breath on him? We must get the Buddha token. The other 4 brothers shouted coldly. If you want the Buddha token, then let's see if you have the ability. Lin Xian's voice was cold. Today, he had to make a name for himself. Otherwise, there would be more and more trouble. 5 Tiger Formation. As the leader of the formation, Sun Da's body shook. He unsheathed the long blade on his back and let out a tiger's roar. Dang dang dang. 5 tiger head blades emitted a dazzling light as they danced in the air. Among the 5 brothers of the Sun family, Sun Da and Sun Air were the strongest. They had reached half-step harmonious spirit realm. The other 3 brothers were at the peak of the 7th spirit sea realm. With the 5 of them forming a formation, it was enough to show disdain for all the heroes. Worthy of being called the Linggu Mountain, it actually attracted such strong experts. Lin Xian was shocked. He could feel the terror of these 5 brothers. Perhaps even Lin Feng or Ling Fengzi wouldn't have an advantage against them. However, Lin Xian wasn't afraid. This kind of opponent was just right to intimidate the heroes. 5 Tiger Slaughter. Sun Da shouted loudly and slashed out with his long blade. A huge white-spotted tiger suddenly rushed out and pounced at Lin Xian. The 5 brothers of the Sun family emitted a bright light. Mysterious runes flickered under their feet, forming a close connection with each other. 5 fierce tigers slashed at Lin Xian from 5 different directions. That terrifying power directly tore the air apart. The ground trembled as if there was an earthquake. This kind of attack could easily kill an ordinary half-step harmonious spirit realm expert. Lin Xian flipped his palm, and a yellow scroll appeared above his head. Buzz! The scroll emitted a hazy light that shrouded Lin Xian. On the surface of his body, a black mountain rapidly appeared and kept expanding. In the end, it formed the shadow of a huge mountain. Clang! 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 5 white tiger blade chi pounced on the black mountain, producing a violent rumbling sound. A monstrous chi wave swept in all directions with a whistling sound. Slash! Lin Xian shouted in a low voice. A silver river appeared in the scroll. It was as sharp as a heavenly blade. With a flash of silver light, the 5 white tiger blade chi were cut in half. Mountain River Scroll. The surrounding martial artists were shocked as if they had seen a ghost. Isn't this the treasure of the Mu family? How could it be in the hands of this brat? Many people looked at the disciples of the Mu family with puzzlement in their eyes. The disciples of the Mu family were sullen. They were going crazy in their hearts. Mu Rong was so angry that her face turned pale. She gritted her teeth. Bastard! How dare he use the treasure of the Mu family against the enemy? Mu Rong's face was terrifyingly dark. Chapter 276. The Mountain River picture scroll appeared in the air, and thousands of rays of light fell down, covering Lin Xian. The 5 brothers of the Sun family looked serious, as they each waved out a sharp blade light. The blade light that was dozens of meters long tore through the sky, filling the area with killing intent. The surrounding warriors turned pale, as if their bodies were being torn apart by a strange force. Cut! 5 dazzling saber flashes came crashing down, all aimed at Lin Xian. Mountain River Protection. Lin Xian crazily activated the Mountain River picture scroll, and the shadow of the Black Mountain became even more real. In addition, there was a silver river surrounding him. Boom! The Black Mountain shook, and the silver river surged, making a rumbling sound. This blade attack made the mountains and rivers lose their color. Lin Xian was slightly surprised. His palms kept changing seals, controlling the Mountain River picture scroll. The rays of light shone brightly, and Lin Xian's defense became even thicker. After getting out of danger, he let out a breath. What a horrifying blade formation. No wonder they said they could fight against a harmonious spirit realm warrior. Show me your true strength, or you won't have a chance, Lin Xian said with a deep voice. What an arrogant kid. We showed mercy just now. Since you don't know what's good for you, don't blame us for being merciless. Sun Air said coldly. Big brother, use the 5 tiger soul shattering. Hearing this, Sun Da pondered for a while, and then suddenly nodded. All right. Haha kid, this is our ultimate move. You better surrender now. Sun Air laughed evilly. 5 tiger body solidification. The spirit power of the 5 brothers of the Sun family surged, and gradually turned into a ferocious tiger, roaring towards the sky. The horrifying roar shook the 9 heavens, and many weaker warriors were shaken to the point of vomiting blood. Lin Xian's eyes moved. He held the autumn scar sword. and the sword intent in his body was ready to be unleashed. A low dragon roar was heard, fighting against the tiger roar. The air rippled like boiling water, making the air crackle. The dragon roar and tiger roar made the space extremely dangerous. Lightning appeared in the air and struck the ground, creating a bottomless black hole. 5 tiger soul shattering, Sunda shouted. And the 5 brothers of the Sun family all raised their long sabers high, their movements uniform. In the void, 5 white tigers with terrifying auras coiled around the blade, roaring continuously with their bloody mouths wide open. With every roar, the aura of the 5 Sun brothers grew stronger. After the 5th sound, the long saber suddenly fell. Sword light flashed on Lin Xian's body, and 40% of the great dragon sword will soared into the sky. The mountains and rivers around him became even more real. A green light appeared, and a dragon roared. A huge green dragon sword shadow appeared in the mountains and rivers. The huge dragon claw pressed against the black mountain peak. Every dragon scale was as sharp as a sword. Azure dragon breaks the moon. With a slash of the sword light illuminated all directions. The azure dragon and the white tiger collided, and an earth-shattering sound shook the heavens and the earth. The area within 100 meters was completely covered in a greenish-white color. Even Ling Fengzi and Mu Chun in the distance frowned when they saw this. Rumble! A thunderous sound came out from the greenish-white storm. Then 5 figures flew out and fell on the ground. It's the 5 brothers of the Sun family. They were defeated. The crowd in the distance exclaimed. This result was too unexpected. It was rumored that the 5 brothers of the Sun family had fought against harmonious spirit warriors before. Even if they couldn't win against Lin Xian, they could at least protect themselves. But they didn't expect to be defeated so thoroughly. The sword chi and saber light dispersed. Lin Xian stood with his sword in hand. His aura was extremely powerful. He glanced around. The warriors lowered their heads, not daring to look at him directly. 1 man and 1 sword suppressed everyone to the point that they couldn't raise their heads. Withdrawing his gaze, Lin Xian flew towards the Lingwu mountain with the Buddha token. Swoosh! A ray of light flashed and rushed towards Lin Xian. It was like a divine spear that was extremely powerful. Lin Xian was in the air and couldn't borrow any force. He was about to be hit by the divine light. It's Mu Chun. Lin Xian is in danger. The crowd below exclaimed. Humph, brother Mu Chun is here. Lin Xian is dead for sure. Mu Rong sneered. It'll cut off all your limbs and destroy your cultivation. It'll make you live like a dog in this world. At this critical moment, Lin Xian's black cloak fluttered, creating an impact force. Whoosh! Lin Xian's body swayed and turned into a ray of black light. He quickly rushed to the side and dodged the fierce attack. How is this possible? He can borrow force in the air. Mu Rong's beautiful eyes widened. She felt suffocated for a moment. Those below the harmonious spirit realm didn't have the ability to fly. Even if there were some martial techniques that could allow one to stay in the air for a short period of time, it was impossible to change direction like Lin Xian did. Even Mu Chun was pondering. His gaze was fixed on Lin Xian's black cloak. Lin Xian landed on the ground. His face was full of fear. If that attack had hit him, he would have been seriously injured. Thinking of this, a golden sword light flashed in his eyes. Mu Chun! Lin Xian shouted, and used the dragon countersteps to move quickly. Clang! A crisp sound was heard. His long sword was unsheathed, carrying the power of wind and thunder. The sword chi was like a rainbow, forming a light tail that was dozens of meters long. It slashed towards Mu Chun. The surrounding people were stunned. They didn't expect Lin Xian to suddenly attack. Even Mu Chun's face fell. You're courting death. Mu Chun was a proud son of the heavens. He didn't put Lin Xian in his eyes. Not only did Lin Xian kill his clansmen, but he also stole the mountain and river scroll. How could he accept this? Mu Chun humphed coldly. He shook the fan in his hand and suddenly opened it. His whole body exploded like the sun. Whoosh! The sun and moon fan is indeed powerful. Ling Fengzi whispered. If you have time to watch the battle, let's exchange a few moves. Lin Feng quickly rushed towards Ling Fengzi. In a flash, 2 balls of light exploded under the Lingwu mountain, forming a terrifying storm. Too crazy. The people in the distance were shocked. Lin Xian and Lin Feng were fighting against Mu Chen and Ling Fengzi respectively. It was a crazy battle. The sun and moon fan was swung, carrying an endless amount of heat. The terrifying fan shadow covered the entire area, as if a sun was pressing down. The surrounding rocks and earth were pierced by the light and melted quickly. The sun and moon fan was a top Xian-level treasure. Its power was even stronger than the mountain and river scroll. It was definitely a powerful weapon. Even a harmonious spirit expert would be shocked by such an attack. Lin Xian held the mountain and river scroll in his left hand and threw out a black mountain peak. Suddenly, the void shook as if it was about to collapse. At the same time, he thrust out his long sword. The power of wind and thunder combined with the black mountain peak rushed towards Mu Chen. Rumble! The light bombarded the black mountain peak. The air was boiling like waves. However, the sun and moon fan's grade was higher than the mountain and river scroll. When the sun-like light hit the black mountain peak, it almost melted it. Luckily, there was still the wind and thunder sword chi on the side. The terrifying sword intent resisted the scorching light, and then the two attacks exploded in the air. Swoosh! Mu Chen's attack missed, and he swung the fan again. Chapter 277. With a wave of the fan, it was like a bright moon in the sky. A cold chill burst out and spread in all directions. The mountain river scroll trembled, and the Milky Way hung in the sky, shining with silver light, facing the cold moon in the sky. It's useless, Mu Chen sneered in the distance. The mountain river scroll originally belonged to my Mu clan. No one is more familiar with it than me. As soon as he finished speaking, the bright moon in the sky quickly rushed over and hit the weak point of the Milky Way, tearing it apart. Wind Slayer! The sword light flashed, and the sharp sword wave quickly attacked. Lin Xian quickly slashed out with his sword and dodged to the side. Sun and moon intersect. Mu Chen's face was cold, and the fan in his hand suddenly fell, shattering the sword chi. The bright moon in the sky quickly enveloped Lin Xian. Reckless fool, you think you can take the Mu clan's treasure? Mu Chen formed a seal, and the mountain river scroll on Lin Xian's body suddenly flew out, as if it had lost control. Hua! A light flashed, and the mountain river scroll flew into Mu Chen's hand. The warriors in the distance exclaimed, not daring to believe that Mu Chen had such a method. Too scary. Mu Chen is indeed one of the top geniuses. That Lin Xian won't be able to handle it. He actually provoked the Mu clan. That kid is unlucky. Great brother Mu Chen can definitely kill that kid. The disciples of the Mu clan cheered, and Mu Rong was also excited. As long as we capture Lin Xian, she has ways to torture him to death. If the Mu clan defeats Lin Xian, then they will have 2 Buddha tokens. Bai Ling of the Yuhua clan frowned. No rush, there are 5 Buddha tokens in the Lingwu mountain, and only 3 have appeared. There are still 2 more. Zhao Jie smiled mysteriously. Seeing Zhao Jie's confidence, Bai Ling was relieved and looked at the Lingwu mountain again. At the foot of the mountain, Mu Chen smiled indifferently, as if everything was under his control. Hand over the Buddha token, and I'll cut off one of your arms and destroy your cultivation. Go and kowtow to Mui 3 times, and I'll spare your life. Isn't it just a lousy painting? What's so great about it? I've already learned these methods, so I don't need them. In the distance, the crowd was also in an uproar. Lin Xian actually said that a high-grade profound rank artifact was a lousy painting? Wasn't this tone a little too arrogant? You don't know the immensity of heaven and earth. Mu Chen's expression gradually turned cold. Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. Mountain River Scroll. With a shake of his hand, Mu Chen took out the mountain river painting. Suddenly, a majestic mountain appeared in the sky and pressed down on Lin Xian. With a flash of silver light, the brilliant Milky Way slashed out like a heavenly blade. The treasures of the Mu clan can only be fully utilized by us, the disciples of the Mu clan. Sai dying under the mountain and river scroll is also a kind of irony. The 5 Sun brothers sighed. This is your mountain river scroll? Too powerless. Lin Xian roared. Let me show you what the true power of mountains and rivers is. Seal of mountains and rivers. Lin Xian formed a seal with his left palm. His palm suddenly slammed down, and a green mountain rapidly appeared. Lightning surged on top of it, and its momentum was astonishing. Boom! The two mountains collided, causing the entire sky to tremble. The terrifying aura quickly spread out in all directions. The mountains and rivers shattered, and the ground sank. Within 100 meters, the entire ground sank by half a meter, as if it was crushed by an invisible hand. Milky Way slash. Lin Xian swung his long sword, and a silver light rushed out. It was as if the Milky Way was upside down, and it collided with the mountain river scroll. How is this possible? How can he use the secret technique of the mountain river scroll? The disciples of the Mu clan were stunned, and they stared blankly at the sky. The others were also stunned. The 5 Sun brothers were even more shocked, and they couldn't speak for a long time. Mu Chen's face was gloomy. He naturally didn't know that Lin Xian had the Great Dragon Sword Seal, which could evolve all offensive saint techniques. Infinite illusion. Let's see how many times you can use it. Mu Chen released his spiritual energy, and the painting in the sky flipped, and the mountain river scroll attack was launched repeatedly. Lin Xian held the seal of mountains and rivers in his left hand, and the long sword in his right hand slashed out a Milky Way sword chi, and he fought with Mu Chen. Boom! The entire sky was annihilated. Sun and Moon fan. Mu Chen was furious. He waved the fan, and the sun and moon intersected. A terrifying energy wave spread in all directions. Sun and Moon seal. Lin Xian roared again. His left hand glowed like the sun, and the long sword in his right hand slashed out a full moon sword chi. No way, this is also possible. The crowd from afar completely collapsed. The sun and moon collided, and Lin Xian and Mu Chen both retreated dozens of steps. Lin Xian, I have underestimated you. But do you still have any spiritual energy left? Mu Chen sneered. Don't forget, I am a half-step harmonious spirit expert. My spiritual energy is much stronger than yours. You don't have to worry about me. I don't have much spiritual energy left. Lin Xian said in a deep voice. But I have this. After saying that, he took out a cup of spiritual wine and drank it. It smells so good. I'm afraid this spiritual wine's grade is not low. Damn it, why does he have this kind of thing? Mu Chen's face turned black. He clenched his fists so hard that his knuckles cracked. This kind of situation made him embarrassed. However, Lin Xian didn't want both of them to go down, and let the others take advantage of them. If you don't like it, we can fight again. After saying that, Lin Xian flew towards a light pillar. On the other side, Lin Feng and Ling Fengzi were still excited. The terrifying sword chi and wind were destroying everything around them. After Lin Xian arrived at the light pillar, the Buddha token on his head shone even brighter. Rumbling sounds came from the Lingwu mountain again. 2 tokens appeared in the last 2 light pillars. What, there is another Buddha token? Everyone was surprised, even Lin Xian was surprised. Whoosh! Lin Feng saw it from afar, and his sword flashed as he quickly rushed towards a light pillar. In the crowd, a few people flew out with terrifying chi towards the last light pillar. Of course, there were also people who rushed towards Lin Feng and the others. The 5 mountain peaks shot down their light pillars. This was their last chance. Everybody was going crazy. Many people joined hands to attack Lin Xian and the others. The terrifying chi made the sky lose its color. Luckily, the Lingwu mountain was extremely hard. Even though it had withstood so many attacks, it was not damaged at all. Lin Xian used the imprint of mountains and rivers, and released the sun and moon sword chi. His dragon sword energy was surging like a demon. He waved his sword, and the sword chi was 80 meters long. It was like a long river that was unceasingly flowing. Dozens of people were blown away. Blood splashed everywhere. The chaotic situation lasted for almost an hour. During that time, Lin Xian's chi was depleted twice. Luckily, he had the high-quality wine and the earth spirit to protect his life. That was the only way he could withstand the attacks. The light dispersed and hundreds of people groaned in pain. The 5 light pillars were full of people. Apart from Lin Xian, Ling Fengzi and Mu Chen, Lin Feng and Zhao Jia had also obtained Buddha tokens. The 5 strong cultivators were surrounded by the light pillars. Their chi was extremely powerful. Above their heads, the 5 Buddha tokens were quickly rotating. With a sound, the ancient seal was opened. The Lingwu mountain rumbled, and a chanting sound came out. It was unceasingly attacking everyone's soul. Lin Xian and the other 4 were covered by the light pillars. They floated towards the 5 mountains. The other cultivators were standing in the distance. Their eyes were filled with envy. I wonder who will be able to obtain the earth-level martial arts. Sun decide. The 5 of them had joined hands, but in the end, they had still lost. However, they had lost wholeheartedly. The 5 people above were the 5 strongest cultivators. Chapter 278. How is that possible? It must be our brother Mu Chun. The Mu clan's disciple did not back down. Lin Xian was enveloped by the resplendent light pillar. His body gradually became blurry, and the scenery around him quickly passed by as if time had reversed. When he woke up again, there were countless hazy doors around him, waiting for him to make a choice. Each door should be a type of martial art. You only have one chance. Wine Lord reminded him. Which one of them is an earth-rank martial art? Lin Xian looked at the starry doors and was shocked. The number of these flickering portals far exceeded his expectations. Some of the doors were suffused with resplendent light, while others were like fireflies, faintly glowing. Wine Lord said slowly, "You can't judge from the surface. Maybe you can try your fate." Fate? Lin Xian rolled his eyes. This kind of thing was impossible to understand. Who knew if his fate was good or bad? There are more ahead. Why don't I take a look? Lin Xian's mind moved slightly as he moved forward. Countless hazy doors passed by him, bringing with them an indescribable aura that also affected his heart. Wang! A door of light resonated with him, spewing out tens of thousands of rays of light that were extremely dazzling. Could this be my fate? Lin Xian was slightly stunned. His eyes flashed as he used his soul spirit to observe, but he did not find anything. Is it really this? For some reason, Lin Xian was somewhat unwilling. If you can't make a decision immediately, why not give up? Wine Lord said solemnly. Lin Xian was silent. He quickly turned around and chose to give up. His subconscious told him that there were even better martial arts waiting for him in front. After a moment, another door of light appeared. There were traces of shockwaves coming from inside, causing people to be shocked. This aura made Lin Xian's heart tremble. Could it be an earth-rank martial art? Lin Xian was moved. Wang Wang! In the storage ring, the palm-sized key suddenly lit up and flickered. Lin Xian was surprised. He took it out and placed it in his palm. The key was simple and unadorned, and its surface was very rough. If it was thrown on the ground, no one would notice it. However, Lin Xian was extremely excited. After all, he had obtained the key along with the Buddha's token. These doors are all illusory, so there is no need for keys. However, I have one in my hand and something strange has happened. Could there be a door here that needs to be unlocked? Lin Xian wondered. That must be it. A smile appeared on his face as he gave up on the light door that was suspected to be an earth-rank martial art. I hope you can lead me to the real treasure. The stone key turned and pointed out a direction. Moreover, it trembled incessantly. Lin Xian gripped the stone key firmly, and his body turned into a stream of light as he dashed out. Not long after, a stone door appeared in front of him. It was extremely simple and unadorned, and there was no light at all. This was a very ordinary door that could be seen everywhere in the outside world. But for it to appear here at this moment, it seemed a little strange. Lin Xian glanced around and found a hidden groove in the center of the stone door, shaped like a keyhole. It's really here. Since you found it, quickly open it. Wine Lord transmitted his voice. Lin Xian held the key and slowly turned it, as if it was in the groove. Ka, ka. 2 light sounds were heard as the stone door slowly opened, and a hazy light screen appeared. Stepping in, Lin Xian's body flashed and arrived at a strange space. In front of him, there was a huge green long sword that was as thick as a heavenly pillar, inserted into the ground. A sharp killing intent came, and Lin Xian was shocked. He felt like he was a small boat that could be overturned by the waves at any time. The huge green longsword was engraved with complicated patterns. It was extremely simple and unadorned, as if it had experienced countless years. Lin Xian took 2 steps forward, and immediately felt a strong vicissitude aura. There seemed to be the sound of thousands of horses galloping. Earth-rank martial art? Lin Xian took a deep breath. This kind of aura could only be possessed by a legendary earth-rank martial art. Lin Xian realized that under this kind of aura, even a harmonious spirit expert would be easily killed. As he walked forward, Lin Xian felt a huge pressure coming from all directions. The terrifying aura felt like it was going to tear him apart. Try the Wind Emperor's sword. Wine Lord reminded. Lin Xian nodded and urged the Wind Emperor's sword to move forward slowly. Sure enough, the pressure lessened, and Lin Xian let out a sigh of relief. Lin Xian came to the front of the green longsword and gently touched it. The moment he touched the green longsword, the entire space seemed to be boiling. In a daze, Lin Xian saw the green longsword slashing down from the sky. The sky was cut open, and a terrifying black hole was spreading in the sky. The surrounding mountains and rivers were shattered, and the earth was cracked. It was like the end of the world. Buzz! Lin Xian's body trembled, and he retreated from the miraculous illusion. His back was cold, and he realized that his whole body was drenched. So terrifying, so domineering. He took 2 steps back and slowly raised his head. On the hilt of the sword, there were 2 simple words that carried a mysterious power. Gale, Lin Xian murmured. After saying that, he circled around the green longsword and found that there were 2 ancient words behind it. Chasing lightning. Gale lightning sword. Could it be that this earth-rank martial art also contains the power of wind and lightning? Lin Xian was overjoyed, and he stared at the green longsword. How do I get it? He frowned. This item was indeed powerful. Even a spirit realm expert would not be able to take it. Wine Lord said slowly. What? Even a spirit realm expert would not be able to take it? Lin Xian was stunned. He did not expect this situation. Then what do I do? Do I have to return empty-handed? His face was bitter. Hee, Wine Lord, do you have a way? Lin Xian scratched his head and asked. Humph. Wine Lord snorted. Of course I do. Really? Lin Xian beamed with joy and quickly asked. What do I do? Do you want to take this green long sword? I don't need to do it. Wine Lord said. You forgot that you have a heaven-defying treasure in your body. Heaven-defying treasure? Lin Xian was at a loss. Other than the great dragon sword intent in Wine Lord, he did not seem to have anything else. Stupid. Where do I live? Wine Lord said with disdain. Aya. Lin Xian slapped his head. He still had a small glazed sword in his body. It was extremely mysterious, and even Wine Lord was temporarily residing in it. However, after the small sword entered his body, there was no movement. After a long time, he had forgotten about it. That small sword has such a use. What do you know? This small sword has a frightening origin. Naturally, it has countless uses. Otherwise, I would not have ended up like this because of it. Wine Lord said angrily. It's just that your cultivation is too low, so you are unable to activate it. Lin Xian took a deep breath and tried to activate the mysterious small sword in his body. Wang! The mysterious small sword trembled slightly and released a sword wave that quickly flew out of Lin Xian's body. This sword wave had a mysterious aura and quickly flew towards the green longsword in front of him. Rumble! Chapter 279. The air vibrated, and the ancient patterns on the huge green sword began to slowly disintegrate. Time passed slowly, and the huge green sword kept changing, finally forming a jade slip and a sword mark. Asterisk swoosh asterisk the green sword mark quickly entered Lin Xian's glabella and disappeared. Lin Xian's body trembled slightly, and a green light flashed in his eyes as he quickly absorbed the information within. The exquisite moves and theories of the Gale Lightning Sword technique filled his mind. Fortunately, Lin Xian's soul force was strong enough to barely absorb the information. Otherwise, if it was someone else, they would have fainted from the information. Just like that, Lin Xian stood quietly, silently comprehending the mysteries within. The jade slip floated to his feet, emitting a faint light. In the outside world, the Lingwu mountain was shining brightly, and it was like a paradise on earth. Everyone waited patiently outside, especially the Black Wind sect, Mu clan, Yuhua sect, and other sections. Time flew, and half a day had passed. Just when everyone was waiting impatiently, a bright light pillar shot out from one of the peaks of the Lingwu mountain. There, a figure rushed out quickly, and the qi on his body became stronger. Ordinary half-step harmonious spirit realm experts couldn't even raise their heads in front of him. It's senior brother Zhao Jie. The disciples of Yuhua sect exclaimed, and their faces were filled with excitement. Asterisk swoosh asterisk Zhao Jie's body flashed, and he quickly rushed over. Senior brother Zhao Jie, your chi has become stronger again. Senior brother, did you get an earth rank martial art? The disciples of Yuhua sect kept asking questions, and the people beside them also pricked up their ears curiously. Earth rank martial art was a legendary martial art. If Zhao Jie could get it, he would definitely lead Yuhua sect to stand above all the other sects in the future. At that time, he might even have the chance to become a 4-star sect. However, Zhao Jie shook his head. I didn't get an earth rank martial art. Then what grade did you get? A high rank spirit martial art, and its power is equivalent to a peak rank spirit martial art. Zhao Jie slowly said, the martial arts in the Lingwu Mountain were all left behind from ancient times, and their power was extremely great. It was far from what the current martial arts could compare to. Many people were disappointed. Martial arts that were comparable to peak spirit level martial arts were precious, but it wasn't as if they didn't exist. At least in 3-star sects, there were some peak spirit level martial arts. However, Zhao Jie was not too disappointed. Firstly, finding martial arts depended on luck. Secondly, he was quite satisfied with the martial arts he had obtained. Not long after Zhao Jie came out, another huge pillar of light surged from the Lingwu Mountain. Everyone held their breaths and looked over nervously. This pillar of light was even stronger than Zhao Jie's. It was like a huge sun shining in all directions. This kind of aura seemed to indicate the extraordinariness of the martial arts. A figure in a white robe came to the side of the Mu family disciple calmly. Senior brother Mu Chen. The disciples of the Mu family cheered excitedly. As if he knew what everyone wanted to ask, Mu Chen said indifferently, peak spirit rank martial art. The strength of a top spirit ranked martial skill had already surpassed most of the top-ranked martial skills in the real world. Only some of the top-ranked sects' incomplete earth-ranked martial skills could compare to it. Congratulations, Brother Mu Chen. Many martial artists congratulated him, wanting to get closer to the Mu family. Mu Chen smiled faintly. When he saw that only Zhao Jie had come out, his expression changed slightly. There were actually 3 people who hadn't come out. This exceeded his expectations. One had to know that a top spirit rank martial art was already the best martial art under earth-ranked martial skills. But there were still 3 people who hadn't come out. This made him slightly worried. Could it be that earth-ranked martial skills will really appear? Mu Chen's eyes flickered. On the side, the 5 brothers of the Sun family were also discussing in low voices, discussing the situation of earth-ranked martial skills. Earth-ranked martial skills are too rare. It hasn't appeared even once in a few hundred years. Mu Chen shook his head and looked towards the Lingwu Mountain. Hung long long. The Lingwu Mountain once again spewed out a resplendent pillar of light, and there were even traces of multicolored light. The surrounding wind shook as if swords and sabers were slashing on the body, causing a burning pain. One had to know that this group of martial artists were all existences above the 7th layer of the spiritual ocean realm. Perhaps only Ling Fengzi could make cool breeze become so lethal. As expected, when everyone opened their eyes again, they saw Ling Fengzi's figure. Everyone's eyes were burning, wondering what martial art he had obtained. Even Mu Chen and Zhao Jie looked over with a trace of seriousness in their eyes. Top tier of spirit rank, Ling Fengzi said coldly, obviously dissatisfied with this result. However, he also knew that the possibility of an earth-ranked martial skill appearing was very low. There are still 2 people who haven't come out. Do you think one of them obtained an earth-ranked martial skill? Why did I hear that the 2 came from the same family? Heavens, that's too terrifying. They haven't come out for such a long time. Maybe they really obtained a valuable treasure. Ling Fengzi snorted coldly. The length of time inside doesn't mean anything. If they don't choose, they will stay inside for a long time. Everyone was silent and didn't talk loudly, but their eyes were fixed on the Lingwu Mountain. Although the 2 people inside weren't disciples of their sects, or even martial artists from their region, it didn't stop everyone from looking forward to an earth-ranked martial skill. Time slowly flowed, and the Lingwu mountain seemed to have fallen into a deep slumber, no longer emitting any movement. Only a hazy radiance flickered, reminding everyone that there were still people inside. Fuck, it's been a day, why haven't they come out yet? Damn it, choosing a martial skill is so troublesome? Could it be that they don't dare to choose? The group of people were impatient and couldn't help but start complaining. Of course, even though they were complaining, nobody left. They were even more excited. Ling Fengzi looked glum. His eyes were filled with coldness. Mu Chun, who was in the distance, also looked unsightly. At that moment, the Lingwu mountain once again emitted a dazzling radiance, as if it was a sleeping ferocious beast that had just woken up. A pillar of light appeared and emitted a resplendent multicolored light. It was extremely dazzling. What a terrifying scene. It's even more powerful than Ling Fengzi's. Could it really be an earth-ranked martial skill? Whispered the crowd. Ling Fengzi pulled a long face and was fixedly staring at that silhouette. In the distance, Mu Chun was playing with a fan in his hand. No one knew what he was thinking. The light flickered, and the sky was illuminated by a red light. A sword was coming out of the light and was flying towards Lin Feng. Boom! Lin Feng landed on the ground with a confident smile on his face. The spiritual energy in his body was rolling like a raging river. Oomph! Ling Fengzi groaned coldly. He took a step forwards, and a strong wind started blowing. It sounded like a million swords were flying towards him. Earth-ranked martial skill? Asked Mu Chun, who wasn't in the distance. Of course, said Lin Feng, whose face was filled with arrogance. He didn't try to hide it. The crowd was boiling with excitement. Surprisingly, there really was an earth-ranked martial skill. This news was too shocking. Don't even think about fighting with me. You are not qualified. Chapter 280. That pressure was already very close to the harmonious spirit realm. Everyone was silent. Lin Feng was many times stronger than before. Almost no one was his opponent. Even Ling Fengzi and Mu Chun didn't move, but they didn't want to give up on the earth-rank martial skill. Lin Feng looked around, but didn't see Lin Xian. He was surprised. However, he didn't care. Now that he had an earth-rank martial skill, he didn't put Lin Xian in his eyes. His ambition was huge. As long as he had enough time, he would definitely surpass the patriarch of the Lin clan. Just as Lin Feng was about to leave, the Lingwu mountain shone again. A light pillar rushed out and 10,000 rays of light rushed out. Everyone was stunned. Could it be another earth-rank martial skill? However, as soon as the multicolored light appeared, it quickly dissipated. Even the pillar of light that reached the sky became illusory and quickly disappeared. What's going on? Everyone was stunned. They had never seen this before. This chi is too weak. It's not even as strong as Zhao Jie's. Could it be that he didn't even get a mid-spirit rank martial skill? Everyone guessed. Lin Feng looked at Lin Xian with disdain. He didn't feel much change in Lin Xian's body, so he didn't pay attention to him. The others stared at Lin Xian curiously. Phew! Lin Xian landed on the ground. He felt everyone's gaze and touched his chin. Mr. Lin, did you get an earth-rank martial skill? Bai Ling asked from the crowd. Oh, did someone get an earth-rank martial skill? Lin Xian frowned. Then Bai Ling briefly explained the levels of the martial arts that the other four had obtained. When Lin Xian heard that Lin Feng got an earth-rank martial skill, his pupil shrank. He looked at Lin Feng cautiously. Lin Feng deserved to be called his rival. He actually got an earth-rank martial skill. Lin Feng was arrogant and ignored Lin Xian. Lin Xian sneered in his heart. It seemed like Lin Feng had already lost his mind because of an earth-level skill. Even though Lin Feng had an earth-level skill, how could the skill he had obtained be weak? Thinking up to here, Lin Xian said indifferently, "What I obtained was not an earth-rank martial art." It's not an earth-rank martial art. Everyone was greatly disappointed. When they once again felt Lin Xian's aura, they discovered that he didn't seem to be lying. Lin Xian had indeed not obtained an earth-tier martial art, but an existence that surpassed earth-tier martial arts. It was a type of legacy martial art. According to Wine Lord's description, the Gale Lightning Sword art he obtained had a power that surpassed ordinary low-grade earth-tier martial arts. Furthermore, it contained the experiences and insights of countless predecessors. It was far from something an Earth-tier martial arts could compare to. In the distance, the light of Lingwu Mountain disappeared as it fell into a deep sleep again. Everyone knew that this meant that this trip to the floating island was about to come to an end. In the past, these people would gradually leave Levitating Island after 3 to 5 days and return to where they came from. 3 days passed quickly. Groups of cultivators disappeared from Levitating Island. The cultivators of the Mu clan and the Black Wind sect left one after another. Bzzz. Lin Feng's body glowed with an inexplicable strength. His body gradually disappeared. Boom boom boom. Just as he was about to disappear, a huge force quickly appeared in the air, as if an earth-shattering hand was about to grab him. Boom. Another gigantic hand appeared and moved towards Lin Feng. Oh no, it's the old monsters of the Mu clan and the Black Wind sect. Bai Ling cried out in alarm. It was no wonder. Earth-tier martial arts were too astonishing. Even 3-star sects couldn't keep calm. Lin Xian's heart was pounding. Since the old monsters had made a move, his situation was also very dangerous. He raised his head and saw that Lin Feng's body was wrapped in red light. Behind him, the shadow of a red maple tree swayed. Lin Feng's whole body shot up into the sky and disappeared. The 2 illusory hands quickly chased after him. The sky was clear again. Prince Lin, you have to be careful. Even though Levitating Island is a world of its own, some old monsters can still affect it. After that, Bai Ling and the others also disappeared and left Levitating Island. Lin Xian frowned. His face was gloomy. He had a very bad premonition. It was as if someone had locked onto his qi. Little Xian, I still have some power. I can send you out of Levitating Island, but it can only be used once, Wine Lord said slowly. Lin Xian nodded. He knew that this method was used to save his life. He couldn't use it casually. Half a day later, his body also began to glow. The mysterious force of Levitating Island supported his body and was about to send him out of Levitating Island. At this moment, the sky seemed to be torn apart. A huge pale hand that was almost 1,000 meters long was ruthlessly grabbing at him. The mountains and rivers below were all crushed by this attack. Damn it, this isn't a harmonious spirit realm warrior. Lin Xian's face became very ugly. This method was completely beyond the harmonious spirit realm. It made him feel like he was facing heaven and earth. It should be a spirit transformation realm old monster. I'll take you out of here immediately, Wine Lord said in a deep voice. Once Wine Lord was enveloped by this palm, it would be very difficult for him to leave in his current state. Therefore, he had to leave before the palm landed. The huge palm almost destroyed the space. Just a slight breeze was enough to shatter the copper lightning runes on Lin Xian's body. Buzz! A black whirlpool quickly appeared on Lin Xian's body and spun continuously. Lin Xian's body became fainter and fainter until he finally disappeared. Boom! 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 The moment he disappeared, the huge palm in the sky suddenly grabbed at him, causing the entire sky to become chaotic. In the outside world, a skinny old man suddenly opened his eyes. 2 rays of light shot out from his pupils. They were dozens of meters long and seemed to be able to pierce through the void. How is it, old ancestor? The middle-aged man beside him asked anxiously. Mu Chun and the other disciples were standing beside him. The skinny old man shook his head. Both of them had escaped. What? The cultivators behind him exclaimed. How is this possible? How can 2 ants escape from your palm? These 2 are not simple. I'm afraid they have a secret treasure that can break through space, the old ancestor of Mu family said in a deep voice. Although they escaped, they didn't go far. Moreover, I left a mark on their bodies. Mu Hua, Mu Xing, you 2 must capture these 2 brats. Yes, the 2 old men replied in a deep voice. 2 silhouettes quickly flew into the sky. They were actually harmonious spirit realm experts. Earth realm martial arts secret treasure. All of them belong to my Mu family. The old ancestor slowly closed his eyes. Tens of thousands of miles away from the Mu family, a figure suddenly appeared in the void and quickly landed on the ground. This person was Lin Xian. His cloak fluttered like a bird as he landed steadily on the ground. As soon as he landed, he spat out a mouthful of blood and his face turned pale. Chapter 281. Lin Xian summoned the little white monkey and asked it to protect him. Then he drank a cup of spirit wine and quickly circulated the longevity art. Fortunately, his body was strong, and after the transformation of the profound ice chi and the great earth spirit liquid, he was much stronger than an ordinary half-step harmonious spirit expert. Otherwise, the wind from the palm strike would have taken his life. After a long time, Lin Xian suddenly opened his eyes. The little white monkey beside him was screaming non-stop. Its little paw was pointing at the sky. "Someone is coming," Wine Lord said in a low voice. Obviously, the attack just now had put a heavy burden on him. Lin Xian stood up and grabbed the little white monkey, then quickly ran away. Behind him, a sharp sound of air breaking was heard, as if an awl was piercing through cloth. Swoosh! An old man walked in the air. He clenched his fists slightly, and the ground and trees below were pulled up into the sky. "There is a remnant chi. Seems like that kid has just left," the old man muttered to himself. He took a step forward and quickly flew away. Not long after, he sensed the presence of Lin Xian in front of him. Boom! His palms suddenly pressed down, and the surrounding spirit chi quickly gathered, forming a 100-meter-long giant palm of light and fell down. Suddenly, the trees below were broken, the mountain rocks were sent flying, the ground was shattered, and a horrifying deep pit was formed. A figure rushed out in a sorry state, as fast as lightning. This figure was Lin Xian. He was running at high speed, relying on his strong soul power to sense the danger in advance. And only then was he able to avoid the attack. What a terrifying attack! It's actually a harmonious spirit realm warrior. Lin Xian's face was as black as the bottom of a pot. Hee little kid. Do you still want to run after offending the Mu clan? An old voice came from the sky. They really think highly of me, sending a harmonious spirit realm warrior. A spirit sea realm warrior, facing a harmonious spirit realm warrior, was like an ant facing an elephant. There was no comparison. Only a heaven-defying item like the mysterious ice chi could trap a harmonious spirit realm warrior. Otherwise, there was no other way. However, only half of Lin Xian's mysterious ice chi was left. It was too little to trap such an expert. "Kid, come back with me obediently. Perhaps you'll still have a chance to live," Mu Xing said coldly in the sky. Lin Xian naturally did not believe such nonsense. He had killed a disciple of the Mu clan, and there was no way they would let him go so easily. The only thing he could do now was to borrow the power of the black cloak. This black cloak was a half-spirit grade artifact. Currently, it had the effect of increasing the speed of the blood sacrifice. Perhaps he could use it to escape. Calm him down first. Lin Xian made up his mind and secretly activated his secret technique. However, on the surface, he put on a helpless expression. "Senior, I agreed to go with you, but you have to guarantee my safety." When Mu Xing saw Lin Xian obediently surrender, he felt relieved. He had learned from the old ancestor that Lin Xian had a secret technique to escape through the void. He was worried that Lin Xian would somehow escape. But now it seemed that the secret technique was not so easy to use. Mu Xing slowly descended and stopped 10 meters away from the ground. He bent his fingers and was about to lift Lin Xian up. At this moment, Lin Xian on the ground suddenly moved. 40% of the dragon sword intent surged. Lin Xian slashed out with his sword. The sword light was like a rainbow, extremely dazzling. "Humph! Stubborn!" Mu Xing's face darkened. He waved his hand, and the surrounding spiritual energy vibrated, forming a thick light screen in front of him. Clang! The materialized sword chi slashed on the light screen, causing the air to tremble, but it did not cause any damage. "To me, you're just an ant. Do you really think an ant can hurt a giant dragon?" Mu Xing's expression was cold. "Since you dare to resist, you'll have to cut off your limbs first." Having said that, he stretched out 2 of his fingers and gently shook them. The spiritual energy in the heaven and earth surged and quickly formed a 100-meter-long sword chi, slashing towards Lin Xian. This was the power of a harmonious spirit realm expert. Each of his moves could mobilize the spiritual energy of heaven and earth, making his attack extremely powerful. Lin Xian once again felt the power of a harmonious spirit realm expert. At the same time, he was glad that he had the profound ice chi when he faced the great elder of the Tsang family. Otherwise, he would have died many times over. Seeing the 100-meter-long sword Qi was about to land on his head, Lin Xian gritted his teeth and shouted, "Blood sacrifice cloak." The dark red lines on the black cloak glowed. Lin Xian felt the blood in his body was quickly draining away, but the red light on the cloak was getting brighter and brighter. All of this happened in an instant. When the 100-meter-long sword Qi fell, Lin Xian's body turned into a blood-red light and quickly rushed away. Swoosh! An ear-piercing sound broke through the air. It was as if the air was being torn apart. This speed stunned Mu Xing, who was in the sky. He looked at the sound of Lin Xian running away. His mind was in a daze. This kid has such speed. Mu Xing's eyes were gloomy. This kind of speed had already surpassed his own. He was one of the top existences in the harmonious spirit realm. That cloak is strange. Is it a spirit-rank treasure? Only a spirit-rank treasure could allow a Sea of Souls realm expert to display the power of a harmonious spirit realm expert. Thinking of this, Mu Xing smiled. If he could obtain a spirit-rank treasure, then his strength would increase greatly. A Sea of Souls realm expert must pay a high price to activate a spirit-rank treasure. As long as I slowly chase after you, I can exhaust you to death. Mu Xing took out a disc and sensed Lin Xian's presence. A moment later he sneered. Taking a step forward, Mu Xing rushed out like a meteor. 10,000 meters away, Lin Xian's figure appeared. His face was pale, and his footsteps were light. Using the blood sacrifice secret art had allowed him to escape danger, but he had also lost 1/5 of his blood essence. This was his life force. Losing so much of it all at once, even if his body was strong, he couldn't bear it. Damned Mu family. I will remember this. Lin Xian drank a cup of spirit wine and said while gritting his teeth. Suddenly he frowned and looked up at the sky. Behind him, the clouds were moving, and a figure was quickly approaching. Damn it! How did he know? Lin Xian's face turned ugly. He had changed his direction, so he shouldn't have been found so easily. I have a mark on my body. He remembered that the Mu family's disciples could easily find him on Sky Island. What is it? Is it a demonic beast pouch or something else? Lin Xian asked Wine Lord for help. It is a special mark. It should have been placed by that spirit transformation realm old monster. Wine Lord said in a deep voice. I can undo it, but it will take some time. I can hold on, Lin Xian said while gritting his teeth. He used the Dragon Rebel step and quickly ran away. Although the Dragon Rebel step was fast, it was nothing compared to a harmonious spirit realm expert. It couldn't be helped. The difference in cultivation was too big. It was like a child holding a sharp weapon, might not be able to hurt an adult. Chapter 282. The red light was as dazzling as the blood sun. With a swoosh, Lin Xian disappeared again. In the sky, Mu Xing's face was cold. To him, a spiritual ocean realm brat had escaped from his hands twice. This was something he couldn't accept. The surrounding spirit Qi poured into his body, and Mu Xing sped up. Before long, Lin Xian was caught up again. Looking at the old figure in the sky, Lin Xian's heart turned cold. Clenching his teeth, Lin Xian asked, Wine Lord, are you still not done? I still need some time, Wine Lord said in a low voice. All right. Lin Xian performed the blood sacrifice again, and disappeared on the spot. 10,000 meters away, when he reappeared, he felt dizzy. He had already lost half of his blood, and his body was extremely weak. He couldn't use blood sacrifice again. Lin Xian took out the white jade bottle and swallowed a drop of earth spirit liquid. As soon as the liquid entered his body, he activated the longevity art and quickly absorbed it. The lost blood was quickly replenished. Sensing the changes in his body, Lin Xian finally let out a sigh of relief. Little kid, your secret art uses blood as a medium, right? I'm afraid you don't have much blood left. Mu Xing quickly caught up from behind, and his terrifying voice spread out. Don't worry about me. Even if I bleed dry, I won't let you succeed. Lin Xian sneered and flew out again. You're courting death. Mu Xing was furious. He decided to attack mercilessly. Bang! When he caught up with Lin Xian again, his huge palm grabbed down. Run, run! Mu Xing sneered. I see that your blood has already dried up. Swoosh! As if responding to him, Lin Xian used blood sacrifice again. Mu Xing's face turned black. Lin Xian's actions were undoubtedly a slap to his face. Brat, I'll grind your bones to dust. Old bastard, I'll remember you. Lin Xian hated Mu Xing to the core. In order to escape, he had lost almost all of his blood. At this moment, the drop of earth spirit liquid that he had swallowed had been completely consumed. This speed was too terrifying. One had to know that normally, he would need 3 days to absorb the energy. But now, the time had been shortened by several hundred times. At this rate, he would be caught sooner or later. Fortunately, Wine Lord was about to remove the hidden mark on Lin Xian's body. This gave Lin Xian hope of escaping. As long as the mark was gone, he could use Bloodstain twice to escape. In the sky, the wood element seemed to have sensed that the mark on Lin Xian's body was rapidly weakening. This caused him to feel a deep sense of unease. If he let a Spirit Sea Realm martial artist escape from his hands, then he might as well kill himself by smashing his head against tofu. With a gloomy look in his eyes, Mu Xing let out a long howl and shot out like a cannonball. Just as he was about to catch up to Lin Xian, he suddenly discovered that the mark on Lin Xian's body had disappeared. This made him want to vomit blood. Whoosh! Whoosh! The wood element quickly flew through the air and searched a radius of 10,000 meters. However, it didn't find any trace of Lin Xian. Damn it, how could he remove the mark that was personally placed by the patriarch? Mu Xing felt like vomiting blood, as if he was being toyed with. Ah! He threw his head back and roared, waving his palms to destroy everything below. However, even if he could destroy everything, it would be useless if he couldn't find any trace of Lin Xian. The thought of facing the old ancestor's wrath and the mockery of the crowd drove Mu Xing mad. Boom! Boom! He continued to fly and bombard the ground below. In the forest below, Lin Xian's face was pale as he sped forward. He constantly changed directions in order to escape the pursuit of the wood elemental. Roar! Roar! Terrifying cries rang out one after another. Several enormous creatures walked out from nearby and roared towards the sky. They were a few terrifying demonic beasts with monstrous aura. Their strength was comparable to a harmonious spirit realm warrior. Lin Xian groaned and could only flee again. However, this movement was noticed by the wood element in the sky. When he saw Lin Xian's figure, tears of excitement rolled down from his eyes. Little bastard, let's see where you can run to. The sound wave was vast and mighty. The wood element roared as he chased after Yi Shiwen. Boom! 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 The giant palms continued to bombard Lin Xian. The rivers below were broken, the mountains collapsed, and the ground was full of scars. Lin Xian was almost hit several times. Fortunately, he was fast enough to escape. However, the aftershock of the giant palms still injured him. If it wasn't for his strong body, he would have fallen already. Little bastard, you can't escape! The wood element roared in the sky. The sound wave blended with the spirit qi in the surroundings. It was like the rumbling of thunder, resounding in all directions. Lin Xian's body trembled. The copper thunder mark appeared on his body to resist the impact of the sound wave. At the same time, he was even more wary of harmonious spirit realm warriors. A warrior of this realm could easily kill a spirit sea realm warrior. He had to be careful. Seeing Lin Xian resist the sound wave attack, the wood element was surprised. At the same time, his killing intent towards Lin Xian became even stronger. Once he offended such a genius, he couldn't let him live. Otherwise, it would be a disaster for his family. Therefore, Lin Xian must die. The wood element was filled with killing intent as he chased after Yi Shiwen. Suddenly he frowned. His eyes emitted a terrifying light as he scanned the surroundings. He's actually near the Dan King Valley. I must catch that brat quickly. The wood element recalled some of the legends about the Dan King Valley. His expression became unnatural. Swoosh! His body emitted a dazzling light as he searched the area. When he saw Lin Xian heading towards the Dan King Valley, his face turned as black as an iron pot. Damn you, how dare you go there? Seeing Lin Xian was about to enter the Dan King Valley, the wood element's eyes were filled with anger. He gritted his teeth and sucked in the surrounding spirit qi. His speed suddenly doubled. Boom! The air exploded and waves of air rolled. The wood element flew like lightning. On the ground, Lin Xian's scalp tingled when he saw this scene. He increased his speed to the maximum. There was a reason why he was heading towards the valley. Wine Lord told him that there was a powerful aura inside. Lin Xian wanted to use this opportunity to intimidate the wood element. However, the wood element acted like a madman. He didn't hesitate to use a secret technique to increase his speed. 1,000 meters, 500 meters, 300 meters, 100 meters. The wood element moved like lightning and blocked Lin Xian's path in the blink of an eye. Run! Why aren't you running anymore? The wood element's tone was cold. His killing intent was like a blade that cut Lin Xian's body. Little bastard. I'll let you know the consequences of offending the Mu clan. You're just an old man who's about to enter the ground. I couldn't even catch up to you after chasing you for half a day. How dare you call yourself a harmonious spirit realm warrior? If I were you, I would have found a piece of tofu and killed myself. Is the Mu clan all trash like you? If we were at the same level, I could kill you all with one hand. Lin Xian's face was full of disdain. He couldn't escape in this situation. He might as well let loose and taunt the wood element. An ant like you wants to fight with the Mu clan? The wood element sneered. My Mu clan has many talented disciples. Any one of them can kill you in seconds. Now come back with me obediently. Chapter 283. The huge palm of light gathered towards Lin Xian, causing the surrounding air to freeze. Lin Xian felt that his body was bound, unable to move at all. He roared towards the sky and unleashed his great dragon sword intent. But he was still unable to resist. Just as he was about to be caught, the surrounding air fluctuated violently like boiling water. A fiery red furnace appeared out of nowhere above Mu Xing's head and crashed down. Mu Xing's expression changed drastically. His body trembled slightly, and a shiver rose from the bottom of his heart. This situation was similar to when he faced the old ancestor of his family. An expert from Danking Valley. Mu Xing was so scared that he almost peed his pants. He used all his strength to dodge to the side. Boom! The huge furnace fell down, shaking the surroundings. Although Mu Xing managed to dodge the attack, the fluctuating air still hit his body, causing him to spit out a mouthful of blood. Don't you know the rules of Danking Valley? A cold voice was heard from the void. Mu Xing suppressed the injuries in his body and quickly said, I am Mu Xing from Mu Clan. I am here to. I said, don't you know the rules of Danking Valley? The voice was filled with anger. Of course I know that fighting is not allowed in Danking Valley, but we have not entered the Danking Valley. Before Mu Xing could finish his words, he found the stone tablet beside him. Damn it, when did you come in? Mu Xing felt like dying. Senior, I will bring this kid away now. Although Mu Xing was old, he was nodding his head like a little chick. Who allowed you to bring him away? If you don't leave now, you won't be able to leave. The air vibrated violently, and the figure in the void seemed to be angry. Yes, I will leave now. Mu Xing was not angry at all. He turned into a ray of light and ran away. Lin Xian was stunned. A harmonious spirit expert actually left like a puppy. What kind of place was this Danking Valley? Thank you for your help, Senior. I am very grateful. Lin Xian bowed towards the void and was about to leave. Who allowed you to leave? The voice snorted coldly. Lin Xian was stunned. He realized that he was happy too early. The air trembled as a figure appeared. The aura on his body was even more terrifying than that of the wood element. Lin Xian looked carefully and saw that this person's hair and eyebrows were all white. But the skin on his face was as tender as a baby's, as if it could be broken by the slightest breeze. He was sitting in a metal wheelchair, with a blood-red parrot standing on his shoulder. Does Senior have any other instructions? Lin Xian asked carefully. The old man in front of him was too strange, so he had to be careful. According to the rules of Danking's Valley, anyone who enters will become a servant of Danking's Valley, and will never be able to leave. A parrot stood on the old man's shoulder and said with a squawk, What? Unable to leave this place forever? Lin Xian was stunned. What kind of stupid rule is this? Once you enter Pilking Valley, your life and death will be under the control of Pilking Valley. The strange old man snorted coldly. No exceptions? Lin Xian asked. From spirit transformation experts to ants and insects, there are no exceptions. The strange old man said confidently. Lin Xian's small face fell. No wonder Mu Xing ran as fast as a rabbit. How could that person leave just now? Lin Xian was unconvinced. Are you afraid of the Mu family? Nonsense, what Mu family? I can destroy them in minutes. The strange old man flew into a rage. Little kid, look carefully. Lin Xian looked forward and saw that the boundary stone in front of him suddenly disappeared and reappeared 1 foot away from him. So it's a trick. Lin Xian suddenly realized. Little kid, you can actually escape from a spirit harmonious realm warrior. It seems like you are quite capable. The strange old man suddenly stared at Lin Xian. This cloak is a half-spirit artifact. No wonder you can escape. Little kid, you must have lost a lot of blood and qi. The strange old man saw through Lin Xian's situation with just a glance. Lin Xian's heart was beating wildly. This old man's eyes were so sharp. Senior, you flatter me. I was just lucky. Lin Xian laughed. Senior, can I really not leave? How about this? I will work here for free for 3 months. After 3 months, you will let me leave. What do you think? What do you think this place is? A restaurant? The strange old man rolled his eyes. Lin Xian's face turned bitter. He still had to go back to attend the family meeting in half a year. His eyes darted around as he looked around, trying to escape. The blood parrot flew up and circled above Lin Xian's head while shouting, "Don't run, don't run!" The strange old man snorted. Go in quickly, or I will cut off your legs, so that you will never be able to walk again. Damn it! It's been 20 years and the 1,000 spiders 10,000 poisons grass still hasn't grown. I have to go back and fertilize it. Little kid, come with me. 1,000 spiders 10,000 poisons grass? What a disgusting name. Lin Xian rolled his eyes. This old man keeps sitting in a chair. Is he handicapped? At this moment Wine Lord transmitted. He is indeed handicapped, but it was not congenital. It was caused by poison. Poison? Lin Xian was shocked. Can that 1,000 spiders 10,000 poisons grass cure his poison? That's right. If you do as I say, you should be able to leave. A smile suffused the corners of Lin Xian's mouth. Since Lord Alcohol had spoken, he felt a lot more at ease. He followed behind the strange old man and suddenly asked, The 1,000 spiders 10,000 poisons grass is extremely poisonous. Senior, are you trying to fight poison with poison? Boom. The strange old man's wheelchair suddenly stopped, and a shocking wave of spirit power erupted from his body. The old man turned around, and a terrifying light flew out of his eyes. They were like 2 divine spears that wanted to pierce Lin Xian. Tell me who sent you here. Lin Xian felt as if 10,000 mountains were pressing down on him, and his bones were about to break. He didn't expect the strange old man to have such a big reaction. What do you mean by who sent you here? Lin Xian shouted. I don't even know where this place is. Seeing that Lin Xian didn't seem to be lying, the strange old man withdrew his terrifying aura and said in a deep voice, Do you know about the 1,000 spiders 10,000 poisons grass? I've heard of it. It is one of the most mysterious poisons in the world, ranked 9th among the top 10 poisonous grasses. So what if you know it? Do you know how to cultivate it? The strange old man sighed. The 1,000 spiders 10,000 poisons grass was very difficult to cultivate. It was said that it needed to be nourished with the venom of 1,000 different poisonous insects 3 times a day, until the leaves grew. Then, it needed to be cultivated with the demon crystal of a 7th grade poisonous insect. This process would last for 10 years, and a demon crystal could only last for half a year. A 7th grade poisonous insect was equivalent to a harmonious spirit realm warrior. Moreover, the number of poisonous insects was already very small, and the ones that could cultivate the 1,000 spiders 10,000 poisons grass were even rarer. Of course, these things were told to him by Wine Lord, and Lin Xian was just repeating them. Kid, it seems like you are quite knowledgeable. You can help me cultivate this 1,000 spiders 10,000 poisons grass. As long as you can cultivate it, I promise to let you out. Chapter 284. Senior, I see that your legs have turned black and purple. You must have been poisoned. Is it the 1,000-year wasp sting, or the black serpent's heart? This junior once heard my master say that the 1,000 spiders 10,000 poisons grass can only counter these 2 poisons. Is this senior's intention also? You know the poison I've been poisoned with. The strange old man's face was agitated, his entire body trembling. The blood parrot circled above his head. Poison. You actually know these 2 poisons? It seems that your master isn't simple. The strange old man laughed bitterly. I've been cultivating the 1,000 spiders 10,000 poisons grass for 2 years, but I've never succeeded. Now I've almost run out of poisonous insects. I spent a fortune to buy them. Lin Xian was silent. It seemed that the 1,000 spiders 10,000 poisons grass was difficult to cultivate, but from Wine Lord's disdainful tone, it seemed that Wine Lord's identity was even more terrifying than had imagined. Speaking of which, the 1,000 spiders 10,000 poisons grass is very difficult to cultivate, but for those who know, it's very simple, Lin Xian said with a smile. Simple? You're saying simple? The strange old man's neck was red with anger. I've spent so much effort these past few years, and I've invited countless capable people, but none of them have been able to revive the 1,000 spiders 10,000 poisons grass. You're saying it's simple? Suddenly, his expression changed, and he asked in a trembling voice, could it be that your master knows how to? Kid, can you invite your master here? I'll pay any price. The strange old man seemed to have grasped at a life-saving straw. I could have, but the Pilking Valley's rules say that once you enter, you can't leave for the rest of your life. Where am I supposed to go? Lin Xian shrugged. Don't, little friend. As long as you can invite your master here, no one will dare to stop you. Is that all? Is there no benefit? Lin Xian sighed deliberately. Yes, of course there is. As long as you can cultivate the 1,000 spiders 10,000 poisons grass, you'll be my great benefactor. If the Mu family dares to bully you, I'll take you to their door. Really? Lin Xian was skeptical. This old man's change was too fast. Little did he know that the strange old man had been poisoned for hundreds of years. His legs were crippled, and he could only rely on a wheelchair. For this reason, he had put in so much effort, hoping that one day, he would be able to stand up again. However, he had not succeeded in nearly 100 years. Now that Lin Xian had a glimmer of hope, how could he give up? Brat, I hope what you said is true. Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite. The old man seemed to have thought of something. I'm just a spiritual sea realm martial artist. What can I do in front of you? Lin Xian laughed bitterly. There's no time to lose. Let's go. The strange old man looked anxious. Where are we going? Lin Xian was stunned. Go and find your master. The strange old man said grumpily. You just said a lot. Don't tell me you've forgotten? No, how could I forget? Lin Xian shook his head. But my master is always traveling, and has no fixed residence. The last time I saw him was 5 years ago. Where do you expect me to find him? Traveling. The strange old man's face darkened. He stared at Lin Xian with an unkind expression. You don't believe me? I wanted to help you detoxify your poison. Lin Xian sighed. That's boring. I won't help you. What? You can detoxify my poison. The strange old man cried out again. Little friend, don't be angry. I really don't believe you. Really? Then why did you look at me just now? Lin Xian curled his lips. My gaze was very friendly. You must have seen wrongly. The strange old man's eyes lit up. Little friend Lin, come inside with me. Little blood, have someone prepare the best spirit tea. The strange old man shouted. Spirit tea. Spirit tea. Blood parrot cried out and flew away. Lin Xian laughed inwardly. It seemed that this old man had stabilized. Fortunately, Wine Lord was here. Otherwise, he would have to retire here for the rest of his life. Senior, how should I address you? Lin Xian asked. Just call me DK, the strange old man said. As long as you can detoxify the poison in my leg, you will be my great benefactor. From now on, your business is my business. Senior DK, may I know what kind of poison you are suffering from? Lin Xian asked. 1,000-year wasp sting, DK said in a low voice. And it's the Wasp King's poison. Lin Xian pondered for a moment, waiting for Wine Lord's judgment. After a while he slowly said, "The 1,000-year wasp sting's poison is cold. The poison part is weak and powerless. It is accompanied by a piercing pain that goes deep into the soul. This pain occurs 3 times a day. Although it is not fatal, it is very torturous. It seems that the person who poisoned you is very vicious." "Yes, you are right." DK was excited. What Lin Xian said was exactly the same as his situation. Lin Xian smiled and continued, "Although the 1,000-spider 10,000 poisons grass can restrain this poison, its growth is too slow. Plus, fighting poison with poison will cause great damage to your legs. I just remembered that my master once told me about a method. I wonder if Senior is willing to give it a try." "What method?" DK asked subconsciously. 100 flower marrow cleansing powder, Lin Xian said slowly. "You know how to use this method?" DK's face was trembling. This old man, who could send a harmonious spirit realm warrior flying with one punch, was as excited as a child in front of Lin Xian. The 100 flower marrow cleansing powder was indeed the best way to treat his leg injury. However, it was an ancient recipe that was extremely precious. He could not find it at all. That was why he could only use the 1,000-spider 10,000 poisons grass to fight poison with poison. "Little friend Lin, this is an ancient recipe. Are you sure you have it?" Lin Xian nodded. He took out a pen and paper from his storage ring and wrote quickly. Then, he passed it to D. Quebec. DK's hands were trembling as he read the recipe. He was so excited that he almost jumped up. "Little friend Lin, you are so generous. Aren't you afraid that I will take it for myself?" "I believe Senior." Lin Xian smiled. In fact, to concoct this pill, a recipe alone was not enough. It also required a special technique, special inscriptions, and other things. Lin Xian was not worried at all. DK understood these things as well. However, when he saw Lin Xian throw an ancient recipe to him like a piece of paper, his heart was still beating wildly. What is this kid's background? For a moment he was even more respectful of Lin Xian. A young man who could take out an ancient recipe so casually must be from an extremely powerful sect. Senior DK, go and collect these materials first. I will teach you the concoction technique in 2 days. Lin Xian said. Give me a cultivation room as well. I want to go into seclusion for a while. No problem. I will arrange for someone to do it right away. DK hurriedly pushed his wheelchair and left. Soon, a servant led Lin Xian to a first-class cultivation room. After closing the door, Lin Xian set up a defensive formation. Then he sat down and adjusted his breath. In fact, he was seriously injured during this escape. Moreover, he had lost a lot of qi and blood. It was very likely that his foundation was damaged. Fortunately, he had the earth spirit liquid. It helped him not to hurt his foundation. Chapter 285. Mu Clan deep in the courtyard. When Mu Xing returned, he found that the atmosphere in the clan was not very good. Did the old ancestor already know in advance? Mu Xing had the urge to vomit blood when he thought about how he did not catch Lin Xian. You're back, where is he? In the hall, the old ancestor asked in a deep voice. Reporting to the old ancestor. That kid ran to Pilking Valley, but we did not catch him. Mu Xing said carefully. Boom! A torrential aura exploded and hit him, sending him flying far away. Trash, a bunch of trash. The Mu clan is in your hands. How can I be at ease? The old ancestor said angrily. 2 spirit sea realm brats. You didn't catch a single one. Mu Xing was alarmed. It turned out that the kid with the earth rank martial art also ran away. No wonder the old ancestor was so angry. The earth rank martial art was related to the fate of the clan. If he had the earth rank martial art, the old ancestor's strength would be able to take another step forward. At that time, the hope of breaking through to a higher realm would greatly increase. Old ancestor. That kid activated the earth rank martial art. And he also has other secret treasures on him. I chased him for 3 days and 3 nights, but I still lost him, Mu Hua said in a low voice. In addition, the Black Wind sect people are also chasing after them. Old ancestor, it's said that these 2 kids are from the same clan. As long as we find out their clan, we can snatch the earth rank martial art back. Yes, the earth rank martial art will definitely be ours. The situation is not good. That kid offended many people. He killed all the disciples of Star Peak Pavilion, and now they are looking for him everywhere. Old ancestor, we have to speed up, the old ancestor said in a deep voice. Mu Xing, you said that kid entered Pilking Valley? Yes, Mu Xing said quickly. That kid was fine at first, but he had a half-spirit artifact on him. He burned all the blood in his body to activate the half-spirit artifact, and that's how he escaped. Half-spirit artifact? Everyone exclaimed. That's a good thing. Their Mu family only had one spirit-grade artifact, so one could imagine how precious a spirit-grade artifact was. Although a half-spirit artifact was not as good as a spirit artifact, it was much stronger than a mystic artifact. Is there any other news? Mu clan's ancestor asked. It's said that ever since the Jiang siblings came in contact with that brat, they disappeared. They didn't even appear when the Lingwu mountain opened. Right now the Jiang family is also sending people to search for them. His cultivation isn't high, but he's quite capable. The Mu clan's patriarch said in a deep voice. He actually caused several factions to fight over him. I'm afraid that the Jiang clan has heard the news, and is also eyeing the earth-rank martial arts. I happen to have a type of poisonous bug that should be able to persuade D. Quebec. Let's not waste any more time. Let's act now. A few harmonious spirit realm warriors followed the old ancestor of the Mu family and soared into the sky. After they left, a few figures left quickly. They had hidden themselves so well that even the ancestor of the Mu clan was fooled. These people were the spies of the various sects, and they were quickly sending the news back. It wouldn't be long before the news of Lin Xian's presence in Pilking Valley spread to the other great sections. As long as they captured Lin Xian, they would be able to find the whereabouts of the earth-rank martial art. At the same time, two figures suddenly appeared below the floating island. They were the Jiang clan's brother and sister. Although we didn't enter the Lingwu mountain this time, we still gained a lot. Let's hurry back to the clan. Jiang Xiaofeng quickly left with Jiang Ruyue. Inside the Pilking Valley, it was a scene of birds chirping and flowers blooming. DK had already sent people to gather the ingredients for the white flower marrow cleansing powder. Of course, he bought it together with the other recipes, so it didn't attract anyone's attention. Lin Xian was still in seclusion, so DK could only wait patiently. Suddenly, the clouds in the sky rolled as if there was a torrent moving. An obscure soul ripple was transmitted, quickly searching the valley, as if it was looking for something. Who dares to search the Pilking Valley? DK shouted coldly. His powerful soul force soared into the sky. Boom! Two invisible forces collided, shattering all the clouds in the sky. A violent storm appeared in the sky, sweeping in all directions. The other disciples in the Pilking Valley raised their heads in fear. It had been many years since anyone dared to behave atrociously in their territory. Now someone dared to provoke them. Haha DK, how have you been? The Mu clan's patriarch appeared in the clouds with Mu Xing, and the others behind him. Mu Xing. DK snorted. When he saw Mu Xing, a cold light flashed in his eyes. I let you go, and you dare to bring people back. Do you think the Pilking Valley is easy to bully? Mu Xing trembled and hid behind the Mu clan's patriarch, not daring to make a sound. DK, you don't have to scare them. I'm here today to make a deal with you. A deal? What kind of deal? DK asked. I have a poisonous insect here. It's one of the 72 poisonous insects. I'll use it to exchange for one of your people. DK's eyes flashed. The first thing he thought of was Lin Xian. It seemed that there was a deep grudge between the two. In the past, DK wouldn't have cared about this, and would have made the exchange. But now he saw hope in Lin Xian. Not to mention one poisonous insect. Even if there were 100 of them, he wouldn't trade. No, DK said coldly. Mu Xing, if there's nothing else, take your people and get lost. The Mu clan's patriarch's eyes narrowed. He couldn't figure out what went wrong. He knew that DK was cultivating the 1,000 spiders 10,000 poisons grass. That was why he brought the poisonous insect with confidence. But he didn't expect to be rejected before he even took it out. Does he know about the earth-rank martial arts? The Mu clan's patriarch's face was gloomy. DK, are you crazy? Don't you want to cultivate the 1,000 spiders, 10,000 poisons grass? That kid is full of nonsense. Don't believe him. He killed my Mu clan's disciple and stole my Mu clan's treasure. I'm here to take him away. What Mu clan's disciple or treasure? I'm not interested. DK snorted. Mu Qingfeng, take your people and get lost. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude. In a hall in Peking Valley, Lin Xian looked at the sky with a solemn expression. I didn't expect the Mu clan to rush over so quickly. Even the patriarch is here. Lin Xian was puzzled. Is it because I killed the Mu clan's disciple that my identity is special? Special my ass, Wine Lord said disdainfully. They definitely know about your relationship with Lin Feng and want to get the whereabouts of your clan from you. In the end, they're here for the Earth rank martial arts. Damn it, these guys still haven't given up. Lin Xian's face was ugly. If these people reached the Sword Pool Mansion, it would be a disaster. Fortunately, we managed to calm DK down 2 days ago. Otherwise, you would be in danger now, Wine Lord said slowly. Chapter 286. After hearing DK's cold shout, the Mu clan's patriarch felt terrible. He was the patriarch of a clan and a spirit transformation realm expert. He had never suffered such humiliation, even if the other party was at the same level as him. So you're really not going to trade? No. DK was also quite angry. Lin Xian was his life-saving straw. Whether his legs could be cured depended on Lin Xian. Now, the Mu clan's patriarch wanted to take away his life-saving hope before he could find the herbs. How could he not be anxious? I have to trade even if I don't want to. For the Earth rank martial arts, the Mu clan's patriarch decided to make a move. Mu Xing, Mu Hua, you two bring that brat here. How dare you? No one dares to behave atrociously in the Peking Valley. DK was also anxious. Set up a defensive array. If they dare to barge in, kill them. Boom. After giving his orders, DK rose into the air with his wheelchair and charged at the Mu clan's patriarch. The two of them faced each other. Their terrifying auras collided as if doomsday had arrived. Below, Mu Xing and Mu Hua were also blocked. The entire valley was suffused with a translucent light array, blocking the terrifying sword chi and palm shadows outside. Lin Xian looked at the saber light and sword shadows. His heart could not calm down. In the end, it was because he was not strong enough that they came knocking on his door. He had to increase his strength. Otherwise, he would be assassinated by the Mu clan before the family meeting. Ah! With a scream, Mu Xing fled into the sky. Mu Hua was also bleeding from the corner of her mouth. It seemed that the Peking Valley's defensive array was not just for show. Seeing that he could not capture Lin Xian today, the Mu clan's patriarch's face was gloomy. He and DK exchanged a palm strike. The entire sky shook as if it was being torn apart. DK, today's matter will not be settled just like this. One day, you will obediently hand him over. Let's go. The Mu clan's patriarch waved his sleeves and led everyone away. He had already decided to spread the news and let the giants gather in the Peking Valley. Even if he could not get it, he could not let the Peking Valley benefit. This move could be said to be extremely sinister. Although the Peking Valley was strong, but they couldn't withstand the joint attack of the Mu family, Black Wind sect, and other experts. DK returned to the valley with a gloomy expression. He sent more people to protect Lin Xian. In the latter half of the night, another powerful spiritual energy fluctuation appeared in the sky, and the entire valley was in a state of panic. The old man DK rushed into the sky, and an intense battle broke out in the sky. Lin Xian sensed the crisis and did not want to stay here any longer. When dawn broke, the old man DK returned to the valley again. However, there were more wounds on his body. It seemed that the experts from last night were very difficult to deal with. Lin Xian found him and proposed to leave temporarily. Don't worry, little friend Lin. These old fellows can't hurt me. I can guarantee your safety. I'm afraid things are worse than we imagined. I'm afraid they'll join hands. Senior, since I can't find all the herbs in a short time, it's useless for me to stay here, Lin Xian said in a deep voice. Senior, don't worry. I'll definitely be back in half a year. Half a year later, the family meeting should be over. Then, Lin Xian would have nothing to worry about. All right, I believe in little friend Lin. DK pondered for a moment and nodded heavily. Thank you for your trust, Senior. Lin Xian was grateful. How about this? It'll help Senior raise the 1,000 spiders 10,000 poisons grass, so that Senior won't be too worried. You can raise it. DK was excited. This was his last hope. Then Lin Xian took out a pen and paper and drew the required inscriptions. This was a set of formations, and it was extremely complicated. The inscriptions were like stars, dazzling everyone's eyes. With Lin Xian's current soul power, he could not set it up. He could only draw it on paper. He believed that DK would have a way to do it. DK's eyes lit up when he saw the complicated inscriptions. With his eyesight, he could naturally see that the inscriptions were extraordinary. Lin Xian gave him such a precious thing, which meant that he trusted him. Little friend Lin, you want to leave now? Yes, there's no time to lose. We have to catch them off guard. Lin Xian said in a low voice. My Valley of Pill Kings has a secret teleportation array. It's usually closed. Today I'll open it for you. Then, he led Lin Xian into the depths of the valley. In the secret cave, there was a snow-white array platform. It was missing a piece. Without this piece, the arrays on both sides are blocked. This will prevent outsiders from entering the Valley of Pill Kings. DK explained. Then, he took out a piece of white jade the size of a brick from his storage ring and placed it on the gap. After installing a spirit stone, the entire array platform glowed faintly. Little friend Lin, this is the map of the Tianshan Kingdom. You'll know when you get out. Lin Xian took it and said solemnly. It'll be back in half a year to a year. During this time, it's best if you don't use the 1,000 spiders 10,000 poisons grass. Don't worry, it'll wait until little friend Lin returns. Rumble. Suddenly several terrifying auras came out of the valley. It was like a huge mountain pressing down on everyone's hearts. DK's expression changed slightly. Hurry up and leave. I can handle it. Lin Xian nodded and didn't say anything else. He jumped onto the array platform and disappeared with the white light. When he woke up again, he found himself in an underground dry well. In a flash, Lin Xian left the place quickly. He took out the map that DK gave him and found that he was in the east of the Tianshan Kingdom, in the Hengduan mountain range. The map was very comprehensive. Lin Xian could find the Xia Kingdom. However, compared to the Tianshan Kingdom, the Xia Kingdom was a little small. I should be able to reach the Xia Kingdom in half a year. Lin Xian estimated, and found that he would have to travel nonstop. Don't you have leg strength? Wine Lord reminded him. Blue-eyed blue toad. Lin Xian suddenly remembered. He took out his storage bag, and found that the golden egg had turned into a tadpole. Lin Xian reached out with his soul, and found that the tadpole was responding to him. If you're worried, you can make a contract with it, Wine Lord said. Lin Xian did as he was told. He made a contract with the blue-eyed blue toad, and became its master. He also wanted to make a contract with the snow-white monkey, but the monkey looked down on him mercilessly. Then, Lin Xian dripped 3 drops of earth spirit liquid on the tadpole, hoping that it would grow into a frog quickly. Only then could he bring him along. 7 days later, croaking sounds came from the demon beast bag. During this time, Wine Lord also removed the last trace of the mark on the demon beast bag. It could be said that no one could find Lin Xian now. With a thought, Lin Xian released the blue-eyed blue toad. Croak. A 2-meter-tall frog jumped in front of him and kept rubbing against his chest. This frog was different from the blue-eyed blue toad he had seen before. Other than the 3 golden lines on its back, its eyes were also golden. I'll call you Xiaojin from now on, Lin Xian said with a smile. You also have a big brother called Xiaobai. With that, he took out the little white monkey. Wu Ji, the little white monkey jumped onto Xiaojin and danced happily. Chapter 287. With little gold as his mount, Lin Xian could spare some time to cultivate. Now that there was only half a year left, he had to raise his strength to a new height. Since Lin Feng had an earth-rank martial art, his strength would definitely increase greatly. If he wanted to defeat Lin Feng, he could only work on the Gale Lightning Sword. However, the minimum requirement to use the Gale Lightning Sword was half-step Harmonious Spirit, so Lin Xian could only raise his cultivation level now. With a flip of his palm, Lin Xian took out a jade slip. This jade slip was obtained together with the Gale Lightning Sword. There were a few small words engraved on it. Wind Emperor's Gale King. There was also a spiritual chi sealed inside, which could help the user enter half-step harmonious spirit. Sure enough, it is related to Wind Emperor. The corner of Lin Xian's mouth slightly raised as he began to absorb the spiritual chi inside. He was now at the 7th level of Spirit Sea Realm. If he wanted to enter half-step harmonious spirit, he would need 2 to 3 years under normal circumstances. However, with this jade slip, he only needed 2 to 3 months to enter half-step harmonious spirit realm. Just like this, Lin Xian began his boring cultivation. Other than absorbing the spiritual chi inside the jade slip, Lin Xian also took some time to study the Gale Lightning Sword. The inheritance he obtained contained the experience of the ancestors, which allowed him to quickly understand and comprehend it. There was also the mysterious sword box. Lin Xian would study it every few days. Of course, this process could not be carried out on Little Gold's back. He could only stop and look for a place where there was no one, and lay down a formation. Lin Xian's strength was rapidly increasing, and his cultivation level had also reached the peak of the 7th level of Spirit Sea Realm. 20 days later, he arrived at the border of Heavenly Mountain Country. The border of Heavenly Mountain Country was very dangerous. It was surrounded by mountains and rivers. The terrain was high and dangerous, and there were many demonic beasts. Lin Xian checked the map, and found that this place was also part of the Hengduan Mountain Range. There was a river called the Profound Yin River, which was specially marked as dangerous on the map. In the huge mountain range, one could hear the sound of the rushing river from afar. What followed was a cold yin qi, which could make one's soul shiver. The river was very wide, and it was impossible to fly across it. It was also very strange. Even harmonious spirit experts couldn't fly across it safely. Only some special boats could do so. These ships were divided into 2 types. The first type was the official ships, which were the ships supported by the royal family of the Tianshan country and the various major powers. These ships had their own special docks, and the people coming and going had to be checked. The other was smuggling, which was often used by people with shady backgrounds. Moreover, it was very expensive. Lin Xian chose a type of private ferry. There were several locations on the map in his hand where he could find such boats. In the dense forest, countless sounds of something breaking through the air suddenly rang out, and the powerful spiritual energy fluctuations caused many monster beasts to crawl on the ground. The group of warriors moved quickly. The next person was an old man wearing a starry blue robe. He floated in the air. This time, we received news that the kid has entered the Hengduan Mountain Range. I think he's going to cross the river. This is our last chance. We must not fail. Yes, Elder Lu. Several martial artists said respectfully. Deep in the mountain range, Lin Xian sat on Xiao Jin's back, holding a jade slip in his hand, and absorbing the spiritual energy inside. Suddenly, Wine Lord transmitted his voice. Be careful, someone is chasing after us. Lin Xian raised his eyebrows and slowly opened his eyes. All the markings have been removed. How can they still chase after us? This is their territory after all. Maybe someone found us on the way. Wine Lord said. There are harmonious spirit experts. We should hide for a while. They're really persistent. Lin Xian's expression was cold. Let's teach them a lesson. He landed on the ground and patted Xiao Jin. The latter leaped and flew dozens of meters away, before landing on the ground. After a few leaps, Xiao Jin disappeared with the snow-white monkey. Lin Xian, on the other hand, hid nearby. Not long after he disappeared, several rays of light came one after another. The first one was the old man in the starry blue robe. Little bastard, you're pretty fast. Elder Lu was shocked by Lin Xian's speed. He had never heard of a Spirit Sea Realm expert having such speed. His eyes flashed, and he frowned when he saw the huge footprints on the ground. Be careful, there should be a demonic beast beside that brat. Elder Lu, I heard that brat fought with our Star Peak Pavilion because of a demonic beast egg. A martial artist quickly said. These footprints do look like those of the blue-eyed blue toad. Elder Lu nodded slightly. Follow me closely, I'm going to speed up. Asterisk boom. Asterisk Elder Lu's body emitted a scorching light. He turned into a flash of lightning and disappeared in an instant. The remaining 6 half-step harmonious spirit experts also started to move backwards. Lin Xian was hiding in a tree. The black cloak had concealed his aura. No one noticed his presence. At this moment, he was staring at the last martial artist like an experienced hunter staring at his prey. There was no trace of impatience. When the distance between them increased, Lin Xian suddenly attacked. This sword was silent, and there wasn't even a sword light. It was just like the wind. Wind Emperor's sword asterisk puff. Asterisk the last martial artist's arm was sent flying. Blood spurted out. Everyone turned around and saw a black shadow flashing by and disappearing in an instant. They chased after him, but couldn't find him. So fast. The martial artists of Star Peak Pavilion felt a chill in their hearts. What happened? Did you see who injured you? A square-faced man asked. The injured martial artist shook his head in pain. Too fast, and his sword didn't move at all. There wasn't even any killing intent. Who is it that dares to attack us? Could it be that Lin guy? The square-faced man's expression changed greatly. Damn it, it's actually a plan to lure the tiger away from the mountain. I hope Elder Lu will come back soon. Form the formation. He's just a Sea of Soul Realm martial artist. He can't block our sword formation. The square-faced man said calmly. The 6 martial artists formed the 6-point sword formation and looked around vigilantly. However, there was no one. It was as if Lin Xian had disappeared. Don't panic, wait for Elder Lu to come back. The square-faced man said in a deep voice. Elder Lu was chasing after Xiao Jin. After half an incense stick's time, he finally caught up with Xiao Jin. However, when he saw that there was only a frog and a monkey, his whole body was in a mess. Damn it, we've been tricked. Elder Lu's face darkened. He was going crazy in his heart. However, he quickly calmed down. The 6 disciples he brought were all half-step harmonious spirit martial artists. Moreover, they had all kinds of sword formations. Once they were used, even he wouldn't be able to break through them in a short time. If Lin Xian dared to look for them, then he would be courting death. Why don't I capture these 2 demonic beasts first and make him lose the ability to move at high speed? Elder Lu smiled cruelly. Without the demonic beasts, Lin Xian wouldn't be able to maintain his speed for a long time. Asterisk boom. Asterisk a huge palm turned into a mountain and covered the front. At the same time, a net of starlight enveloped Xiao Jin and the snow-white monkey. Wuji wuji gua gua. Chapter 288. The dagger in the little monkey's hand was a top-grade profound rank artifact. It was extremely powerful. With the help of the little monkey, it easily cut through the net of light. However, little gold wasn't so lucky. It was just born and was still very young. It couldn't do anything against a harmonious spirit realm warrior. Soon it was blocked. Whoa whoa whoa, the little monkey jumped on its head and comforted it. Run! Run! Elder Lu walked over with a sinister smile. I'll cut you 2 into pieces in front of that little bastard. Everything related to him will disappear. Elder Lu walked over step by step like a demon. The aura on his body made little gold tremble. On the other hand, the little monkey didn't feel any discomfort. It made a face at Elder Lu, and even spat at him. You're courting death. Elder Lu was furious. He reached out his hand to grab the little monkey. Whoosh! A white light flashed, and Elder Lu grabbed nothing but air. Damn it! What kind of monkey is this? How can it be so fast? The little monkey looked at him with disdain, and did a unique action. Then, under Elder Lu's murderous gaze, the little monkey took out a demonic beast pouch. Not good. Elder Lu's heart skipped a beat. He quickly grabbed little gold. Swoosh! Little gold turned into a ray of light, and entered the demonic beast pouch. Whoa 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 whoa, the little monkey laughed and disappeared in the air. Elder Lu's lungs were about to explode. What kind of status did he have? He was actually played by 2 demonic beasts. Ah! With a furious roar, the surrounding mountains and trees exploded and turned into powder. Little bastard, I'll definitely kill you. The voice was like thunder spreading far and wide. Elder, save me. Suddenly, A miserable scream came from the forest. Elder Lu's expression changed again. The voice clearly came from his disciple. Elder Lu couldn't care less. He turned into lightning and rushed into the depths of the forest. Four martial artists covered in blood rushed out. One of them was even missing an arm. When they saw Elder Lu, they were like children who had been bullied, wailing loudly. Elder Lu's face darkened. He asked coldly, "What happened?" "Lin Xian. It's that demon Lin Xian. Little bastard Lin? Don't you have a formation? Why can't you capture him? That brat used poison. My 2 junior brothers were caught off guard and died from the poison. Martial uncle, you must avenge us." Elder Lu felt suffocated and dizzy. He said coldly, "Little b****, if I can't catch you, I swear I'm not human." With that, he sent out the sex signal to gather the people nearby. In the dark, Lin Xian quietly retreated. The reason why he was able to defeat 6 half-step harmonious spirit experts was because he used some of the poison that he obtained from the Dan King Valley. However, he still didn't have the power to fight against a harmonious spirit realm warrior, unless he used the 1,000-year poisonous stinger. 3 days later, Lin Xian was surrounded again. Elder Lu and Elder Wang joined forces to capture Lin Xian. Boom! A huge palm of spiritual energy descended from the sky and slapped towards Lin Xian. The trees and rocks below were all shattered, and cracks appeared on the ground. Fortunately, Lin Xian had the black cloak, so his speed was greatly increased. Swoosh! He turned into a black light and dodged. A terrifying palm print appeared at the place where he was standing. As soon as he dodged the palm, a resplendent saber light whizzed towards him. The cyan saber light was several hundred meters long. With a single slash, a 1,000-meter-tall mountain was split in half. Lin Xian's small face was pale, and all the muscles in his body were tense. The saber almost brushed past his body. Even with the copper thunder mark and high profound rank armor, he was still injured. Little b****, today I'll send you to hell. Tell me the whereabouts of the earth rank martial art or die. The 2 elders floated in the air like 2 mountains, exuding a terrifying aura. Lin Xian activated the sword intent in his body and slashed apart the torrential pressure. Otherwise, this pressure alone could paralyze a spirit sea realm warrior. Damn it! There are 2 harmonious spirit realm warriors. Lin Xian felt bitter in his heart. If there was only one harmonious spirit realm warrior, he might be able to deal with him with the recent increase in his strength. However, there were 2 harmonious spirit realm warriors. He couldn't fight them at all. Whether or not he could escape was a problem. Old Wang, let's take him down together. We can't let him escape. Elder Lu's face was cold. Star Fist. Mountain-shattering palm. 2 terrifying attacks fell from the sky, and everything within 500 meters was affected. Feeling the threat of death, Lin Xian could only use the blood sacrifice cloak again. His body turned into a bloodline, and Lin Xian disappeared on the spot. Chase! The 2 elders from Star Peak Pavilion turned into rainbows and rushed towards the distance. They locked onto Lin Xian. Boom! Another punch was thrown out like a falling meteorite. This punch was very vicious. It was just when Lin Xian had just materialized his body and couldn't dodge it anymore. Lin Xian gritted his teeth and threw out a blue star stone. It kept enlarging in front of him. He got this stone from a disciple of Star Peak Pavilion, so it was considered a treasure of Star Peak Pavilion. Crack! Crack! The star stone blocked the attack for a moment before exploding into countless pieces. This moment gave Lin Xian time. He used the Dragon Rebel steps and the black cloak to increase his speed to the extreme. However, Elder Lu's figure was flying towards him at high speed. It was another light palm. Lin Xian could only summon the broken armor he got from Meng Yan to block in front of him. Boom! 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 Cracks appeared on the broken armor like a spider web, and then it turned into powder. Lin Xian suffered a violent impact, and his body quickly fell to the ground. Boom! A terrifying deep hole appeared on the ground. Lin Xian felt that all the bones in his body were broken. The power of a harmonious spirit expert was not to be underestimated. He couldn't resist it at the moment. You can still move. Elder Lu was shocked when he saw Lin Xian stand up shakily. Even a half-step harmonious spirit expert would be severely injured and on the verge of death. But a martial artist at the 7th layer of the Spirit Sea realm could still move. Not simple indeed, but you can't escape this time. Elder Lu walked over with a sinister smile. Whoosh! Above the white light, the snow-white little monkey appeared and quickly left with Lin Xian. You want to run? Elder Lu and Elder Wang laughed loudly and quickly followed him. In front of them, a terrifying river surged. It was shining with silver light and emitted a cold aura. That aura made Lin Xian's body tremble. Profoundine River. Lin Xian's face was bitter. Behind him, the two elders landed with a mocking expression in their eyes. Little bastard, why don't you run? Even the heavens won't help you. Let's see what you can do this time. Profoundine River was a place that even harmonious spirit experts didn't dare to take risks. Lin Xian had nowhere to hide. Behind the two elders, the disciples of Star Peak Pavilion arrived one after another. When they saw Lin Xian by the river, they laughed wildly. Little bastard, tell me the location of the Earth Rank Martial Arts, and you may live. Chapter 289. Are you old bastards blind? Do I have an Earth Rank Martial Art? Lin Xian roared. At the same time, he hated Lin Feng to the core. This guy really knew how to find trouble for him. You don't have the final say. Well, no, once we use the soul-searching technique. Elder Lu grinned. Search your ass. Lin Xian didn't have any misgivings. He'll remember today's humiliation. In the future, he'll definitely go to the Star Peak Pavilion to get it back. Lin Xian's words shocked the surrounding cultivators. If this kind of genius grew up in the future, he would definitely be a huge hidden danger to the sect. You think you still have a future? Elder Lu's face was gloomy as he suddenly attacked. Boom! Lin Xian took a step back and fell into the chilly river. When I come out, it'll be the day you die. Lin Xian's voice echoed on the river as he jumped into the water with the snow-white monkey. Swish! Elder Lu grabbed empty air, and his face was extremely gloomy. There was actually someone who dared to jump into the Profoundine River. This was something he didn't expect. Boom! Boom! He continuously waved his palms, and terrifying palm shadows smashed into the river, stirring up thousands of waves. Old Lu, don't be rash. This river is very strange. Elder Wang stopped him. That kid won't survive if he goes in. Sigh. What a pity about the whereabouts of the Earth Rank Martial Art. Good kid. He's actually unwilling to tell us the whereabouts of the Earth Rank Martial Art even if he dies. Elder Lu felt uneasy. He had a bad feeling. I think this kid is very strange. He might not die. How about this? We'll guard the various crossings and send people to guard here. If there's no movement after a month, we'll retreat. Okay, let's do that. Elder Wang nodded. Obviously, he didn't give up on the Earth Rank Martial Art. The moment Lin Xian fell into the river, he released Xiao Jin. The river water was as cold as ice, constantly eroding his body. The snow-white monkey entered the storage ring. Lin Xian used the copper thunder pattern to resist the cold qi with all his strength. However, he felt more and more powerless. On one hand, he was injured. On the other hand, the river water was too strange. It made his spiritual power become very slow, as if it was about to freeze. Lin Xian had only felt this phenomenon when he used the profound Bing Qi, but at that time, he only used a trace of it. But now, there were countless in cold water in all directions. Gulp Xiao Jin's body glowed with a faint golden light. It wasn't affected much. It opened its mouth and spat out a bubble that wrapped around Lin Xian. All of a sudden, all of the cold water was blocked outside. Even without the corrosion of the cold water, Lin Xian still felt a deep sense of weariness. He forcefully swallowed a drop of earth spirit liquid and fainted. Croak croak. Xiao Jin took Lin Xian and swam into the distance. When he woke up again, he found that he was still in the air. You're awake, Wine Lord said slowly. How long have I been asleep? Lin Xian sat up and found that his injuries had all healed. It's been 5 days. Xiao Jin, go and check the situation. Be careful not to expose yourself, Lin Xian said in a deep voice. Gua gua wuji wuji. The snow-white monkey jumped out and quickly left with Xiao Jin. Not long after, the two of them turned back. The snow-white monkey kept gesturing with an angry expression. They didn't leave? How cautious. Lin Xian's expression sank. You can cultivate at the bottom of the lake. If you can break through to half-step harmonious spirit, you will be able to use the Gale Lightning Sword art, Wine Lord said. That's the only way. Lin Xian took out the jade slip and began to absorb the energy crazily. At the same time, he divided a part of his attention to comprehend the Gale Lightning Sword art. Half a month passed by quickly. Lin Xian had been cultivating in the bubble at the bottom of the lake all this time. The qi on his body was getting stronger and stronger, faintly emitting a frightening aura. The biggest difference between the harmonious spirit realm and the spirit sea realm was that harmonious spirit realm warriors could absorb the heaven and earth spirit energy to increase the power of their moves. Currently, the spirit energy in his body was in a liquid state, so it was called the spirit sea. Only by turning the spirit sea into a qi vortex could one enter the harmonious spirit realm. Even though it was just a different form, this step had stumped countless martial artists. Without entering the harmonious spirit realm, one would always be an ant at the bottom of the martial path. Only by entering the harmonious spirit realm could one be considered to have truly stepped on the path of martial arts. Half-step harmonious spirit realm was to turn a part of the spirit energy in the body into a qi state. Lin Xian was currently undergoing this process. After a long time he opened his eyes. It was as if two sword beams shot out, causing the surrounding water to tremble. This is half-step harmonious spirit realm? It is indeed powerful. Lin Xian felt that he had a certain connection with the surrounding spirit energy, and was extremely happy. Wait until you completely turn your spirit energy into a qi vortex. Then you can enter the harmonious spirit realm. Wine Lord slowly said. At that time, you will discover the true power of the art of long life. The true power of the art of long life. Lin Xian was looking forward to it. When he was in the spirit sea realm, the art of long life spirit energy was very strong, far surpassing those of the same realm. Right now, I am barely able to use the Gale Lightning Sword once, but I don't know how powerful it is. Lin Xian was eager to try. However, he did not let the joy get to his head. If there was only one harmonious spirit realm warrior outside, he could give it a try, but if there were two, he could only run away. Brat, although your current state is very strong, it is still not enough to defeat Lin Feng. Lin Xian was silent. Wine Lord was right. Lin Feng had already become a half-step harmonious spirit realm warrior, and also had an earth rank martial art. He was only on par with Lin Feng, but he did not have much of an advantage. If you say so, then you must have a way. Lin Xian asked. There is a way, but it depends on whether you have the courage or not. Wine Lord smiled and said, if you do it well, killing the two harmonious spirit realm warriors outside is not impossible. Hearing this, Lin Xian's eyes lit up. What is it? To be honest, this time he was really sullen. If there was a way to get rid of the two old men outside, he did not mind taking the risk. Your bronze thunder body is almost ready to level up. You can try to break through to the silver thunder body. Silver thunder body. Lin Xian's heart was burning. The bronze thunder body allowed his body to be comparable to a half-step harmonious spirit realm warrior. And the silver thunder body was even more abnormal. It allowed his body to be comparable to a harmonious spirit realm warrior. It is good, but I don't have a lightning source at the moment. Lin Xian was puzzled. When he cultivated the bronze thunder body, he snatched the lightning source from a harmonious spirit realm warrior and a 7th-ranked demonic beast. It was very exciting. If you want a lightning source, it is very simple. Wine Lord said with a smile. There are many in the sky. In the sky. Lin Xian was stunned. Then his face became very ugly because of Wine Lord's words. There are many clouds in this mountain range. As long as you set up a small formation, you will be able to attract heavenly lightning. At that time, you will be able to temper your body. Heavenly lightning. Lin Xian's mouth twitched. He realized that he had jumped into the hole that Wine Lord had dug. Chapter 290. It's fine if you don't dare. Anyway, I'm not the one who was bullied, and I'm not the one who participated in the clan meeting. Wine Lord said indifferently. Lin Xian's expression kept changing. In the end, he gritted his teeth and said, "You're ruthless. It'll attract the lightning." Inside the mysterious small sword, Wine Lord leaned against a giant tree and murmured, "Little guy, if you can't even withstand the lightning strike, I can't give you this sword." Wine Lord taught Lin Xian the lightning attracting formation, and he quickly learned it. Under Xiao Jin's lead, Lin Xian swam toward the riverbank. He chose a relatively remote place to go ashore, avoiding the detection of the Star Peak Pavilion. As soon as he got ashore, Lin Xian's black cloak fluttered. He used the dragon counterstep and turned into a black light, running away. After entering the mountains, he found the tallest mountain and began to set up the lightning-attracting formation. Half a day later, Lin Xian left the mountain. Star Peak Pavilion, I'm coming. A cold smile appeared on his face as he quickly rushed toward the forest. Beside the Xianin River, a few Star Peak Pavilion's martial artists were patrolling. Elder Lu is really something. It's been half a month, and he still wants us to search. I guess there's no corpse left. That's right. Can he still be alive after falling into the Xianin River? A few of them whispered with dissatisfaction. The Xianin River was unusually cold. Even half-step harmonious spirit experts like them couldn't withstand it. Let's go back. A martial artist said. Asterisk swoosh asterisk at this moment. A sword light flashed behind him. The power of wind and lightning surged, and the surrounding spiritual chi fluctuated. A thick sword chi slashed down. Asterisk puff asterisk a martial artist was not careful, and was cut in half by the sword chi. Who is it? The remaining disciples were shocked. The one who will kill you. Lin Xian's body flashed, and his long sword pierced out mercilessly. The sword light filled the sky like cold icicles. The sword intent was surging, and it was extremely terrifying. It's Lin Xian. Quickly report to the elders. Someone shouted. They never dreamed that someone could come back alive from the Xianin River. Asterisk puff asterisk puff asterisk a few martial artists were sent flying. Their eyes were filled with fear. This attack power was too terrifying. They couldn't block it at all. How is this possible? He is the same as us, a half-step harmonious spirit cultivator. Impossible, I don't believe it. However, no matter how they resisted, they were unable to block Lin Xian's sword chi. Puff! Another head flew up, and blood dyed the ground red. Run! The remaining three ran in three different directions at lightning speed. However, Lin Xian was even faster. His footsteps shook as he arrived behind one of them. He raised his autumn scar sword up high. The sword light rippled, as if it was tearing apart the clouds. Chopping cloud, this sword move mobilized the surrounding spirit chi, making it even more powerful than before. The cultivator resisted with all his strength, erecting a solid defense. In front of him, a small shield with star patterns bloomed with light. However, none of this could stop the cloud-slashing sword chi. Everything was like cutting tofu. That martial artist, along with the small shield in front of him, was split into two halves. The other martial artist was cut in half by the snow-white monkey's tough spider silk. The last martial artist quickly fled. It wasn't that Lin Xian didn't have the ability to kill him, but he needed him to go back and report. Lin Xian hated the two elders the most, so he wanted to deal with them. The last martial artist fled to the Star Peak Pavilion's base with a terrified expression. He screamed crazily, "Guards, he's back!" "Who's back?" A disciple said impatiently. "Devil, devil!" The disciple fell to the ground with blood all over his body. "What happened to you?" The commotion attracted the attention of others. Lin Xian isn't dead. He's back for revenge." After saying that, the martial artist fainted. Boom! Boom! Elder Lu and Elder Wang soared into the sky. Their terrifying chi enveloped the surroundings. After a while, Elder Lu said excitedly, "Little bastard, you're still alive." Swoosh! Two rays of light flashed past. Elder Lu and Elder Wang disappeared. In the forest, Lin Xian felt two terrifying chi rushing towards him. Without hesitation, he ran towards the highest peak. "You won't be able to escape this time." A terrifying howl came from behind. The trees around him exploded. Star fist. A fist that was almost 100 meters long formed in the sky. With a whistling sound, it smashed towards the front. If it was in the past, Lin Xian wouldn't be able to dodge it. But now that he had advanced to half-step harmonious spirit realm, his strength had increased a lot. He could dodge it easily. His black cloak fluttered. Lin Xian's speed increased once again. Not good, this brat seems to have broken through. Elder Wang frowned. He's just a half-step harmonious spirit realm cultivator. Do you think he can deal with us? Elder Lu said with disdain. The two of them quickly chased after him. Elder Wang was doubtful again. That brat seems to be luring us. Could it be an ambush? Everything is futile in front of absolute strength. Elder Lu didn't care. He didn't put Lin Xian in his eyes at all. As long as Lin Xian didn't jump into the Profoundine River, he wouldn't have a trace of worry. The three of them arrived at the peak one after another. At this time, the clouds in the sky began to roll. Many dark clouds began to gather. It was normal for the weather to change in the forest. Elder Lu didn't care about it. The environment here is not bad. Seems like you really know how to choose a grave for yourself. Elder Lu sneered. As long as you like it. But this is not my grave. It's yours. Lin Xian revealed his neat teeth. Brat, don't think that you're so great just because you're a half-step harmonious spirit realm cultivator. In our eyes you're nothing. Stop bragging. Lin Xian sneered. You're already so old. But you're still a harmonious spirit realm cultivator. If I were you, I would have killed myself already. This young master is 17 years old this year. I'm already a half-step harmonious spirit realm cultivator. May I ask what your cultivation level was when you were 17? Lin Xian said with disdain. I think you're nothing. Little bastard, you're courting death. Elder Lu was so angry that his whole body trembled. Old Lu, don't talk nonsense with him. Quickly take him down. Elder Wang glanced at the dark clouds in the sky. He was a little worried. Don't worry, I'll torture him to death. Elder Lu walked over step by step. Lin Xian secretly observed the dark clouds in the sky. He originally wanted to think of a way to stall for time, but he didn't expect that the other party didn't have any intention to make a move. This made him secretly happy. Two old things, I'll kill you later. Elder Lu stretched out his palm. There are too many geniuses in this world, but most of them died young. You're no exception. I'll let you know that before you grow up, you don't have the right to shout. Star Finger. Elder Lu pointed his finger at Lin Xian's calf. A terrifying aura fluctuated like a ferocious beast. I'll break your leg. Let's see if you can still run. Swoosh. Lin Xian's footsteps swayed. His body left an afterimage on the spot. Chi. A bottomless black hole appeared on the ground. The cut was even. The layer of soil that was hit by the sword was forcefully dug out. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Elder Lu quickly pointed his star finger. He was like a cat playing with a mouse. Seeing Lin Xian anxiously dodging, he looked at the sky and laughed. Elder Wang, come and try. It's very fun. Alright, it's been a long time since I tortured someone. Elder Wang laughed sinisterly. Wait until I catch him. I'll use my secret technique and make him beg on the ground like a dog. The two of them forced Lin Xian to the edge of the cliff with cold smiles on their faces. This time, you won't jump off the cliff, right? Ha 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 ha. The two of them laughed crazily. Rumble. Dark clouds suddenly covered the sky. Silver lightning flashed in the clouds. Lin Xian's frightened expression disappeared. It was replaced by a cold smile. Very fun, right? I'll play with you until you're satisfied. Lightning strike. Chapter 291. Rumble. Thunder rumbled in the sky, accompanied by a huge flash of lightning. The originally bright sky was covered by a black cloth. It was pitch black and oppressive. The fear on Lin Xian's face disappeared. He looked coldly at the two people in front of him, with lightning flashing in his eyes. You two old dogs, I'll play with you today. Lightning strike. Elder Lu and Elder Wang were stunned and looked at the sky in panic. Dark clouds covered the sky and silver lightning flashed, but there was no sign of it falling. Kid, who do you think you are, the god of lightning? How dare you scare me? I'll torture you for 4 more hours today. The two sneered and didn't take it to heart. They knew that there were many thunderstorms in this area. In their eyes, the dark clouds above were just ordinary thunderstorms. It was normal. Their huge palms swayed and grabbed at Lin Xian. Both of them still had a smug look on their faces. At this moment, a blue lightning arc fell. It was like the Milky Way piercing through heaven and earth. It struck the mountain where Lin Xian was standing. Rumble! The terrifying sound of thunder spread in all directions. All the demonic beasts within 1,000 miles fell to the ground and trembled nonstop. The disciples of the Star Peak Pavilion also looked at the lightning in the sky in horror. Many of them were so scared that they wet their pants. Ah! Two miserable cries cut through the sky. They were like roosters that had their feathers plucked. It was extremely miserable. Lin Xian circulated the copper thunder pattern with all his might and dodged quickly. His eyes were full of smiles. These two old fellows were standing on the eye of the array and attracted the first bolt of lightning. That feeling was definitely going to be tough for them. Guys, how does it feel to be struck by lightning? Lin Xian asked with a smile. Little bastard, I'm going to kill you. Elder Lu opened his mouth and spat out a mouthful of black smoke. Elder Wang wasn't any better. His hair was standing up from the lightning, and his body was charred black. He was in a sorry state. You want to kill me? Have a good taste of being struck by lightning. Lin Xian completely activated the array and attracted the lightning from the sky. The entire mountain peak turned into a sea of lightning. Elder Lu and Elder Wang wanted to escape immediately, but they realized that the surroundings were sealed by an array formation. Every time they tried to attack the array formation, the heavenly lightning above their heads would strike them, causing them to scream and flee in all directions. Brat, you actually plotted against us. I'm going to kill you with my own hands. Elder Lu pounced forward crazily. In the end, Lin Xian's lightning became even more intense, causing Elder Lu to retreat while screaming in pain. Lin Xian, you've trapped us, but you can't escape either. Why don't we reconcile? That's right, you're an exceptional genius. There's no need for you to die here. It's not worth it. Elder Wang also echoed. He was really scared. If he was struck to death here, that would be a great loss. Haha, if you're afraid then beg me. Lin Xian's body was surrounded by lightning, and his skin was cracked. It was a tragic sight, but he was laughing very happily. He was different from Elder Lu and Elder Lu. The two of them didn't know how to dodge, and could only take it head-on. But he was different. He had the method given to him by the Wine Lord. It wasn't to blindly resist the lightning, but to use it to temper his body and strengthen the copper lightning marks. Even so, his body was still rotten to the point that it couldn't be any worse. Fortunately, he had the longevity art and the life essence of the Great Earth Spirit liquid, which could quickly heal his body. That was why he dared to try it. In the sea of lightning, Elder Lu and Elder Wang were gnashing their teeth in hatred. In the end, they still opened their mouths to beg for mercy. Lin Xian laughed loudly. He endured the pain in his body and said, You two old dogs, you want kneel down later, right? Brat, you're just a half-step harmonious spirit. You'll definitely die before us. Once you die, the heavenly lightning will be gone. Elder Wang said with hatred. He didn't want to kneel down to a brat. Then you two should obediently enjoy the heavenly lightning. Wait until this young master breaks through. Then he'll take your lives. After saying that, Lin Xian ignored the two of them and began to absorb the lightning with all his might. Asterisk boom. Asterisk, a lightning bolt as thick as a water bucket hit his body. It was like a huge mountain had hit his body. He couldn't help but spit out blood, and his bones creaked. Asterisk wing star. The copper lightning mark flashed, forming a mysterious electric pattern. It quickly absorbed the lightning into his body. The violent lightning entered his body and exploded with a terrifying destructive force. Lin Xian's face twisted. He faced the sky and roared. His black hair danced wildly behind him. His body emitted a terrifying aura. Asterisk ka. The clothes on his body were torn apart, revealing his robust body. He had already taken off his armor. Now he was facing the lightning naked. Quickly circulating the copper lightning mark, Lin Xian's body was boiling hot. It felt like his body was about to explode. Quickly circulate the silver lightning mark's incantation. Change the copper lightning mark to the silver lightning mark. Then you'll succeed. Wine Lord reminded. Hearing this, Lin Xian forced himself to focus and circulated the silver lightning marks incantation. On the surface of his body, the copper lightning mark's color gradually disappeared. It was replaced by a flickering silver lightning mark. While Lin Xian was refining his body with lightning, Elder Lu and Elder Wang were about to go crazy. Horrifying wounds appeared on their bodies, and their expressions were dispirited. They regretted teasing Lin Xian. Why didn't they capture him directly? Perhaps then, they wouldn't have to suffer the pain of being struck by lightning. They might even be able to find out the whereabouts of the Earth-tier martial arts. Elder Lu, I told you long ago to be careful of traps, but you just wouldn't listen. Now look at it, I'm almost cooked. Elder Wang complained. His treasures had all been destroyed, and he was in a very bad mood. You're still talking? Which bastard said that he would torture him to death? Elder Lu was indignant. He threw away the deformed shield in his hand. You dare to scold me? I'll fight it out with you. Elder Wang was anxious. Let's fight. I'm not afraid of you. Elder Lu's face was ferocious. The two of them continued to argue. Not far away, Lin Xian was undergoing a shocking transformation. Blue lightning struck down, shattering the rocks in all directions. Lin Xian stood in the middle of it. The lightning marks on his body flickered, rapidly absorbing the energy within. He had already consumed a drop of Earth Spirit liquid, and was now consuming the second drop. However, the results were obvious. The lightning marks on his body continued to merge with the lightning in the sky, and a surge of energy gradually rose. Even the violent lightning in his body was suppressed. Under the incantation of Silver Lightning Body, his body began to repair. Many of the lightning marks on his body had turned silver, as if a silver armor was draped over his body. Lin Xian was pleasantly surprised. He exerted even more effort to activate Silver Lightning Body. Gradually, a silver halo formed on his body, wrapping him up like a cocoon. This transformation finally attracted the attention of Elder Lu and Elder Wang. This guy is transforming. What a strong qi. What kind of body refining technique is this? It actually needs to be refined by lightning? The two of them were shocked. Even they didn't dare to face the lightning directly. Lin Xian, a half-step harmonious spirit brat, was actually able to absorb so much lightning. This made their eyelids twitch. This brat has too many secrets. Just this body refining technique alone is enough to make a group of harmonious spirit realm warriors go crazy. We can't let him succeed. We must interrupt him. Elder Lu said fiercely. Chapter 292. The two of them walked towards Lin Xian. Every step was extremely difficult. Rumble. The closer they got to Lin Xian, the stronger the power of the thunder. The terrifying lightning seemed to be able to split everything into pieces. Elder Lu held up a small blue umbrella with stars drawn on it. It formed a curtain of stars above his head to block the attack of the thunder. Elder Wang put on a battle armor that shone with a green light, forming a terrifying defensive barrier. The two of them took out their respective treasures and tried their best to walk towards Lin Xian. Lin Xian was currently wrapped in a huge silver cocoon. He didn't know what was happening outside, but it didn't mean that he couldn't fight back. Moreover, there was still Wine Lord. Although Wine Lord couldn't attack directly, he could still control the array formation. Under his control, the lightning array formation changed rapidly. His proficiency was 100 times higher than Lin Xian's. Soon, dark clouds rolled in the sky. The lightning in the sky turned into lightning snakes and rushed towards Elder Lu and Elder Wang. The ground below had completely turned into a sea of lightning. Elder Lu and Elder Wang struggled to resist and walked very slowly. This process lasted for a long time. When the two of them reached Lin Xian's side, their footsteps were unsteady. The small umbrella with stars drawn on it and the green battle armor were also dim. They were heavily injured. However, their eyes were shining. They were like hungry wolves that saw a beauty. They were abnormally excited. As long as they caught Lin Xian, they could make up for all their losses. When they thought of the scene when they asked about the Earth-tier martial arts and supreme-grade body tempering technique, the two of them couldn't help but laugh foolishly. Elder Lu and Elder Wang slowly stretched out their palms and grabbed towards Lin Xian. Seeing that the two of them were about to touch the silver cocoon, They seemed to have sensed Lin Xian's heartbeat. At this moment, the silver cocoon suddenly emitted a cracking sound. A huge crack split open from the middle, and countless silver lightning bolts rushed out from within. Not good. Elder Lu and Elder Wang's expressions changed drastically. They attacked decisively. A huge star-shaped palm with a terrifying aura grabbed inside. Elder Wang also threw out a fist that was suffused with light. Boom! Whoosh! Just as the two of them attacked, a pair of palms glowing with silver light reached out from inside and blocked their attacks. Silver electric arcs danced, containing the terrifying power of thunder and lightning. Elder Lu and Elder Lu felt as if their arms were grabbed by an iron clamp, extremely firm. Let go! The two of them were enraged, and their auras erupted. A gale swept across, and the spiritual energy in the sky gathered, forming a huge sword aura that slashed towards Lin Xian. Scram! His shout was like a thunder explosion, spreading in all directions. This voice turned the surrounding rocks into powder, and charged toward Elder Lu, and Elder Lu with a soul attack. Wang! Bang! Elder Lu and Elder Wang's expressions changed slightly as they reacted angrily. The air exploded from the pressure, and the silver cocoon of light was quickly blown away, revealing Lin Xian's body. At this moment, a white light flashed and snatched the light cocoon away. It was the snow-white monkey. It flashed again, and arrived on Lin Xian's shoulder. It opened its small mouth, and swallowed the entire silver lightning cocoon, then went into the storage ring. Lin Xian's body was covered with silver lightning marks. It was incomparably mysterious, like a silver battle armor that wrapped around him. Tiny silver electric arcs danced on his body, containing a suffocating power. Elder Lu and Elder Wang's attacks landed on his body, producing a metallic sound. Although Lin Xian was in pain, he didn't fall down like the other half-step harmonious spirit experts. There wasn't even a trace of a wound. What? Impossible. The two elders' pupils shrank. For hours ago, Lin Xian didn't dare to receive their attacks. Now, after receiving two of their palms, it was as if nothing had happened. What kind of body refining technique is this? It's so terrifying. At this moment, Elder Lu and Elder Wang's hearts were filled with a trace of panic. The seed of fear was deeply rooted in their hearts. If others knew about this, they would definitely laugh until their bellies split open. Two harmonious spirit experts were actually afraid of a half-step harmonious spirit brat. This was simply a fantasy. However, the reality was as such. You two old bastards, it's time for you to pay your debts. Lin Xian's arm swayed, smashing the two elders to the ground. You dare! Two furious voices rang out. If they were hit, how would they have the face to see others? They might as well just kill themselves. Elder Lu's palm was like a blade, quickly chopping towards Lin Xian's waist. Elder Wang attacked Lin Xian's legs. Asterisk boom. Asterisk bang bang. Asterisk Lin Xian took Elder Lu's attack head-on, and his right leg clashed with Elder Wang's. As a result, he was sent flying while vomiting blood. The two elders, on the other hand, fell flat on their faces. Their faces made intimate contact with the ground. Furthermore, some colorless powder seeped into Elder Lu and Elder Lu's bodies through their wounds. Asterisk crack 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 asterisk the ground shattered, creating a huge crater. Lin Xian wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and sneered. You two are really thick-skinned. You actually shattered the ground. Little bastard, I'm going to kill you. Elder Lu's face was ferocious. He had never been humiliated like this. His face was still covered in gravel. He took a step forward and punched with his right fist. Elder Wang, on the other hand, took out a long blade and chopped down. His fist was like a huge mountain, growing bigger and bigger in the air, smashing towards Lin Xian. The blade was resplendent, mercilessly chopping down. Lin Xian moved his feet and dodged to the side. Both of you, don't you feel uncomfortable? Lin Xian appeared 50 meters to the right and asked with a smile. Little bastard, no matter what you say. Elder Lu and Elder Wang hadn't finished speaking when their voices suddenly stopped, as if someone was strangling their necks. You dare to poison us. Elder Wang's voice was filled with endless resentment. Their faces turned purple, and their blood turned black. The spirit energy in their body couldn't circulate smoothly. If it was a normal day, this kind of poison wouldn't be a problem. However, the two of them had been struck by lightning for more than 4 hours. Their bodies were already heavily injured. The poison that they usually didn't care about had now become something that could take their lives. The surrounding spirit energy vibrated violently and rushed towards the two of them, frantically suppressing the poison in their bodies. However, how could Lin Xian give them a chance? He had risked being injured to poison the two of them. He wouldn't let them control the poison so easily. Moreover, Elder Lu and Elder Wang were injured. They couldn't even use half of their combat strength. Now was the best time to kill them. Lin Xian took a step forward and shot out like a missile. His right fist suddenly punched out. The terrifying power caused the void to tremble. Silver arcs of lightning flashed, making his fist shine with a silver light. Boom! He sent Elder Lu flying with one punch. His right leg turned into a silver dragon and crashed into Elder Wang's lower abdomen, sending him flying. The mountain trembled, and a human-shaped hole appeared in the wall. Little bastard, you're courting death. The two of them were furious. They ignored their injuries and poison, and pounced on Lin Xian crazily. As long as they killed Lin Xian, they would have time to heal their injuries. Today I'll smash your heads. Lin Xian let out a long howl and punched out with both fists. At the same time his eyes flashed. Inscriptions flashed as he used an eye technique to attack. Soul Sword and Invisible Soul Force pierced towards Elder Wang, attacking his soul. Elder Wang was caught off guard. He held his head and screamed. He was, after all, a harmonious spirit realm warrior. His strength was far beyond ordinary people. He recovered in a short moment. At this time, Lin Xian had already punched more than 100 times. Every punch was as heavy as a mountain. When they landed on Elder Lu's body, they made earth-shattering sounds. Chapter 293. Elder Lu was already severely injured by the lightning strike. With the poison in his body, he couldn't even use 30% of his strength. This provided Lin Xian with the perfect opportunity. Every time he waved his silver fist through the air, boundless lightning would appear. Bang! Elder Lu was sent into the ground. Half of his body was in the ground. He was mad and his face was extremely ferocious. However, the angrier and more anxious he was, the faster the poison in his body acted up. In the end, his entire body turned purplish-black. Clang! Another kick. Lin Xian used the 7 steps of the Dragon Rebellion to stomp on Elder Lu. After reaching the silver lightning mark, not only did his body reach the harmonious spirit realm, even his strength had reached the same level. It could be said that other than his cultivation base, he was no different from a harmonious spirit realm warrior. Such powerful strength. This lightning strike was worth it. Lin Xian laughed and attacked Elder Lu crazily. Silver Lightning Wave. Lin Xian displayed the Silver Thunder Bodis martial skill. Silver lightning appeared on his palm, and a heart-palpitating energy filled the air. Elder Lu's face turned green. He could feel the threat of death from this energy. If he wasn't injured, he could take this attack even if he couldn't dodge it. However, he was severely injured and poisoned. He couldn't block this attack at all. Elder Wang was also shocked. He didn't dare to attack recklessly. He was afraid that the attack would land on him, and he would be the one to die. In fact, if the two of them worked together, they could fight against Lin Xian, even if they were severely injured. However, in the face of death, the two of them made the most foolish choice. Elder Wang forcefully gathered a breath of spirit energy and flew away. At this critical moment, he actually escaped. Elder Lu was furious, and his heart was filled with despair. Lin Xian took the opportunity to use a soul attack, weakening Elder Lu even more. Rumble! In the blink of an eye, the silver lightning wave was like a silver dragon. It carried a violent aura and hit Elder Lu's head. The whole valley was surrounded by silver lightning. It was as if a sea of lightning had been reborn. The dark clouds in the sky that had originally dispersed actually gathered once again, and several terrifying lightning bolts struck out, piercing through the surrounding earth. The unlucky Elder Wang was struck by one of the lightning bolts. His body trembled, and he almost fell from the sky to his death. If that was the case, then he would be the first harmonious spirit realm warrior to fall to his death while flying. When all the light disappeared, Lin Xian's figure was revealed on the mountain peak. Beside him was a charred corpse. Half of its body was buried in the ground, and its head was pierced through. It couldn't be more dead. This extremely arrogant Elder Lu was finally killed by Lin Xian. Even in his dreams, he would never have thought that he would die in the hands of a half-step harmonious spirit expert. After taking off Elder Lu's storage ring, Lin Xian walked to the edge of the cliff and looked into the distance. Elder Wang, who had been struck by lightning once again, trembled as he flew through the air. At the same time, he called over the other disciples of the Star Peak Pavilion. Lin Xian sneered as he slowly drew his sword. The Autumn Scar sword drew a strange trajectory in the air. Lin Xian's aura was also increasing crazily, reaching a terrifying height. Dark clouds rolled in the sky. Huge lightning bolts flashed from time to time. Just a trace of lightning was enough to shatter the nearby mountains. This aura was even more terrifying than the lightning bolts just now. Elder Wang saw this scene, and his body trembled. He almost fell from the sky. He was really scared of being struck by lightning. In addition to his current state, he couldn't fight back at all. Without any other choice, he could only use a secret art to escape, regardless of the cost of his origin. Streaks of blood-red ripples appeared around him, forming a terrifying imprint that enveloped his body. At this moment, the spirit energy in the sky vibrated, and all of it crazily rushed to the top of Lin Xian's head. Even the clouds were moving quickly, forming the shadow of a huge sword. Such a terrifying aura. What kind of martial art is this? The disciples of the Star Peak Pavilion below were pale. Their bodies were trembling. Under this kind of power, they couldn't resist at all. Why is Elder Wang injured? Is it because of that brat? Where is Elder Lu? The group of disciples realized that the situation was even more terrifying than they thought. They didn't dare to think further. Go and stop him. Elder Wang's body was covered in blood-red color. A terrifying aura erupted from his body, as if a demon king had descended. The disciples below were trembling. If they went up to this kind of battle, it would be suicide. The forest was silent. No one stepped forward. Old thing, stop struggling. Old dog Lu is dead. You should go down and accompany him. Lin Xian's voice was loud, spreading in all directions. What? Elder Lu is dead? Impossible. Elder Lu is a harmonious spirit expert. How could he die? The group of disciples couldn't believe it. However, Elder Lu didn't appear for a long time. It seemed to confirm Lin Xian's words. Little thief Lin, you killed Elder Lu. The Star Peak Pavilion won't let you go. When I return, it will be your death date. Elder Wang said sternly. Blood demon secret art. Blood chi filled the sky. Elder Wang's body emitted a dazzling red light. Gale lightning sword, mountain break sword. The surrounding spirit energy gathered crazily. Dark clouds rolled in the sky. Lightning gathered to form a giant sword. When the terrifying longsword appeared, the surrounding spirit energy surged. Countless gusts of wind blew and entered the giant sword. The heavenly greatsword gradually became real, as if it could crush the heaven and earth. Gusts of wind and lightning circled around the sword, forming an ancient pattern that emitted an ancient aura. Slash. Following Lin Xian's shout, the heavenly greatsword fell from the sky. The air trembled and retreated to both sides like a tide. The sky seemed to be torn apart, and the clouds were split in half. The trees and mountains in the surroundings were quickly disintegrated, turning into dust that drifted with the wind. Elder Wang's body was covered in blood. He was firmly locked in place and couldn't escape. No, I won't die. He was in a state of madness and stopped running. Blood Sea Star Transformation. Elder Wang absorbed the surrounding blood mist into his body. 1,000-meter tall blood giant appeared behind him. It held a giant star in its hand and smashed towards the heavenly greatsword. Rumble! The two collided. Everything within a 1,000-meter radius was covered in lightning and wind. Terrifying energy waves swept out in all directions. Everywhere it passed, everything was turned into ashes. The disciples of the Star Peak Pavilion couldn't escape in time. They were all turned into blood mist without even a scream. Lin Xian's black hair danced wildly. He activated his sword intent with all his might and merged it with the Gale lightning sword. Crack! The star shattered. The blood giant was hit, and was quickly torn apart. Elder Wang let out a scream as he was swallowed by the huge sword qi. With a move of the sword, mountains and rivers were shattered. When everything calmed down, terrifying cracks appeared on the ground. The forest and mountains were all cut in half. Elder Wang couldn't be more dead. Not even a corpse was left. Lin Xian's face was pale, and his body was a little weak. This gale lightning sword was more terrifying than he had imagined. It had almost drained all the spirit energy in his body. Sitting on the ground weakly, Lin Xian took out a cup of spirit wine and drank it. Chapter 294. Killing 2 harmonious spirit realm experts in one fell swoop. This kind of achievement could scare people to death. One must know that Lin Xian was only a half-step harmonious spirit realm expert. Of course, this kind of achievement could not be replicated. Firstly, Lin Xian had a strong body, comparable to a harmonious spirit realm expert. Moreover, he had the Gale Lightning Sword art, an inherited martial art that surpassed Earth-rank martial arts. Secondly, Elder Lu and Elder Wang were struck by lightning, heavily injured and poisoned. They could not even use 30% of their strength. Under these circumstances, Lin Xian was able to kill 2 harmonious spirit realm experts. However, he did not let the victory go to his head. Lin Xian knew very well that under normal circumstances, it was very difficult to kill a harmonious spirit realm expert. However, he was confident that he could fight Lin Feng now. 4 hours later, Lin Xian's body recovered, and his strength returned to its peak state. The lightning mark on his body disappeared, and he returned to his normal state, looking like a delicate and handsome young man. However, when this young man went crazy, even harmonious spirit realm experts would die. Lin Xian took out a black ring. There were ancient patterns engraved on it, and it was glowing with a dim light. This storage ring was something he had obtained from Elder Lu, under the might of the Gale Lightning Sword. The space within Elder Wang's storage ring had been shattered. Everything inside the storage ring had been learned. What a pity! Lin Xian's face was filled with pain. A harmonious spirit realm expert's storage ring was definitely a good thing. Exhaling, he probed the storage ring with his soul force. Then he was overjoyed. Lin Xian was already mentally prepared, but he didn't expect the things inside to still shock him. There were dozens of chests of spirit stones, all of which were mid-grade spirit stones, a large number of profound rank treasures, and dozens of martial arts manuals. This was simply a small treasury. Lin Xian calculated for a moment. The things inside were more than what he had gotten from the others. Old thing, you're really rich. Lin Xian was in a good mood. After putting away the storage ring, Lin Xian took out a map and quickly found a nearby ferry. The most important thing now was to leave Heavenly Mountain. His body swayed, and he disappeared. The Ancient River had many twists and turns, spanning more than half of the Tianshan Kingdom. Lin Xian followed the map and came to a secret crossing. According to the map, the ferry would open once every 7 days, and every time, it would open at midnight. Lin Xian wasn't in a hurry. He sat down cross-legged, comprehending the Gale Lightning Sword art while waiting. 2 days later, the moon was dark and the wind was strong. A chilly wind blew on the profound Yin River, causing people's souls to tremble. Lin Xian felt an indescribable aura and felt uneasy. He stopped meditating and stood up looking around cautiously. At midnight, ripples suddenly appeared on the surface of the river, and a black shadow quickly approached the shore. Lin Xian's eyes flashed as he looked ahead. A small boat floated over, and a boatman dressed in white stood on it. His face was abnormally pale. The boat was even more special. It was actually made of paper. Such a scene, especially in the middle of the night, could not help but appear a little eerie and terrifying. Lin Xian's scalp went numb, and he felt extremely uncomfortable. Do you want to take the ferry? The boat stopped at the shore, and the white-robed boatman asked in a deep voice. The voice was a little stiff like a puppet. It didn't sound like a normal person at all. However, Lin Xian didn't have any other choice. He had to leave this place as soon as possible, and this was the only way right now. Yes, Lin Xian replied. The ferry fee is a high-level profound class artifact. The boatman said slowly. What? High-level profound class artifact? Lin Xian picked his ears to make sure he didn't hear wrong. High-level profound class artifacts were not something that could be found anywhere. Even the Autumn Scar sword he used was only a mid-level profound class artifact. Thinking back, he had spent a lot of effort to get it. Damn, this is too much, Lin Xian mumbled. Luckily, he was rich, and he even got Elder Lu's storage ring. Otherwise, just the fairy fee alone would make him feel pain for a while. Taking out a high-level profound class artifact blade from the storage ring, Lin Xian handed it over. The white-robed boatman put away the artifact blade and said slowly, "Please get on the boat." Lin Xian carefully walked onto the boat, and only then did he realize that the boatman's clothes were also made of paper. But what made him feel relieved was that the boat only shook a little and didn't sink. The white-robed boatman paddled the boat, and the boat quickly moved forward. "Don't look, this boat won't sink," Winelord laughed. "There is a formation inside, and it's not as weak as you think." Formation? Lin Xian was even more curious now. What kind of power would do this kind of business? "Hey, how long will this boat take?" "Not sure," the boatman replied mechanically. Lin Xian asked a few more questions, and then lost interest. This boatman was like a block of wood. His knowledge was limited, and he couldn't get anything out of him. Lin Xian had nothing to do, so he could only meditate and train. The only fortunate thing was that 3 days passed by peacefully. At midnight on the third day, the boat arrived at the shore. Lin Xian got off the boat and left without looking back. Only when he was completely far away from the mysterious Yin River did he slow down. Taking out the map, Lin Xian carefully compared it. He was now in the Eagle Nation, and after passing through the Eagle Nation was Rain Country. Summer Country and Rain Country were neighbors. Summoning Little Gold, Lin Xian determined the direction and quickly moved forward. 2 months later, Lin Xian arrived at Rain Country. During this time, he had completely consolidated the Silver Thunder pattern and completely comprehended the first sword of Gale Lightning Sword. Other than that, Wind Emperor had comprehended 70% of the first sword, and Green Cloud Sword had reached the 6th sword. Also, his sword intent had reached the peak of 40%. He took out the sword intent treasure box, and his eyes flashed. "I could only open a small gap in Bronze Thunder body, but now that I've mastered the Silver Thunder pattern, how much can I open the sword intent treasure box?" Lin Xian had an idea, and decided to improve his sword intent again. Finding an empty valley, he put away Little Gold and set up a defensive formation. Everything was ready, and Lin Xian took out the sword intent treasure box. Wang! Wang! The air vibrated, and the Silver Thunder pattern appeared on Lin Xian's body, as if it was a silver armor. With the Silver Thunder pattern, his confidence increased greatly. He exerted force in his palm, and the sword intent treasure box slowly opened. A sharp sword intent spread out from the treasure box, as if it could pierce through everything. The thunder pattern on Lin Xian's body flowed, resisting the terrifying sword intent. The treasure box slowly opened, and 1/3 of it was opened. Last time at this place, Lin Xian's body had a terrifying crack, and the bronze thunder pattern couldn't withstand it. But now, although he was in pain, he could completely resist it. From this point, it could be seen that Silver Thunder body was more than twice as powerful as Bronze Thunder body. Holding the treasure box, Lin Xian wholeheartedly comprehended the sword intent, and the dragon sword intent in his body rumbled, continuously absorbing and strengthening. Half a day later, Lin Xian had completely comprehended 1/3 of the sword intent, but his sword intent still didn't improve. But compared to half a day ago, his sword intent was much stronger. Again, Lin Xian gritted his teeth, and once again enlarged the gap of the treasure box. Ka. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.